Hello Internet, welcome back to the Boss Trouble Lounge. You're listening to episode 76. My name is Patrick, I'm joined by Saif, say hi.
Yellow.
And Steve, say hi.
You know it, you love me, I'm back, baby. I never left.
So, Steve, have you recovered from the live sports ball broadcast through episode 75?
No, as we speak, I'm not doing too well because my NRL team, the Penrith Panthers, have their best player sidelined because he hurt his hamstring playing after that game. So I am currently
Coping?
not in a good way. Yeah, I just not in a good way. Let's say it like that.
Seething, got it.
he's literally seething and crying.
Shitting his pants even.
He is, yeah. Tune into the video stream if you want to see that live.
I literally have not left my house in 6 days. It's literally just a white hot mixture of tears, shit, and piss.
God's cocktail. Seth, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine, on the other hand. Steven being in such a bad mood has put me in such a good mood, actually.
You know what? That's right. I'm going to come over and I'm going to suck your good mood out. I got the
You really didn't have to say it like that.
The Hoover Sucker 3000, you heard me.
Is this a
I've
sex
heard
thing?
of Soul Sucking 3000, but this is ridiculous.
Is this a sex thing? Should
No,
I be scared?
It's a clean your house, you filthy fucking animal thing.
Oh, my house is fine. But
Yeah,
thanks for
I'm sure it
offering.
is. Yeah, fine, he says. Notes how you didn't say clean. Interesting. You really think you know a guy?
You don't know
Right.
me. You don't know how I
don't.
live. Please don't tell
I'm in
people
your
how
wall.
I live.
I am in your wall.
As far as I know, you just live in a cardboard box with an editing computer, an internet connection, and maybe a mattress? I'm not sure.
No, that's too luxury. All I got is a spring from one.
Where do you place the spring, Seth?
On my hamstring.
Yeah,
Make sure I don't pull it.
Not funny.
Yeah, fair enough. Right, well, into Round the Lounge this week we go, I guess. So, other than crying and seething and coping and shitting yourself, Steve, what have you been up to this week?
Honestly, nothing new. I'm trying to get the 100% for Vampire Survivors, and then after I do that, I'll be getting the DLC so I can report into that. But yeah, just trudging along. Zone 3, Redfall, Tears of the Kingdom. Redfall doesn't get better. Like, there's a halfway point, and it's like, cool. There's like a point, and I know I said I wouldn't talk that much about Redfall, but there's like a halfway point, and you do like what you think is the last part, and then it's like, oh yeah, by the way, here's this new area, and you go to the new area, and it's exactly the same thing. So I'm not sure if they were supposed to be connected or something. It's just very weird.
I think a game like Redfall, it's kind of like what you were saying about Persona, where like it gets really good on the second 100-hour block. Really, that's what I've heard.
Well, I've only put like 10 hours into Redfall.
Ooh, still in the tutorial phase. Fair enough. Don't worry,
Well,
you'll
I'm
get
still
on
How
there
have you put
eventually.
10 hours into it and haven't finished? The game's 4 hours long.
That's only if you feel like you're really going for it. And
Why would you do anything else but go for the ending?
But
Just rip off the band-aid.
well, I get like there's like these weird safe house things that are like that have their own weird side quests, and I'm like, you know what, I want to do this. Like, and there's like every main quest has like not branches, but there's like 3 sort of paths, and I'm doing like all the paths. Like it's essentially just a different slideshow cutscene and a different go here, do this thing, go home. But I'm doing all of that. Like I'm trying to get my value for money, even though I didn't pay for it. I thought it would grow on me the more I pay for it, the more I play it, but it's not really. The more I play it, the more it's like, mid is.
Well, let me tell you, you become far more invested in it when you drop $100 on it.
Like as I said in my initial review, if I paid money for this, I would like my house would literally just be fucking crying and shitting my pants. Like,
I was gonna say shit in your pants even harder.
Look, I know. Literally on my chest, I have tattooed "Never pay full price for a video game."
Phil Spencer will be
But
getting
yeah.
a very angry email.
Oh man, Xbox Series X replica fridge would be going straight through his window in Minecraft.
Allegedly.
But yeah, nothing new from me. That's essentially my report. I'll probably just interrupt you guys when you're talking.
Cool. We'll see you. Yeah.
Nothing.
I was going to say we'll see you at the 20-minute break of your Subway Surfers video compilation, funniest moments. Seth, what have you been up to?
NRL funniest moments compilation.
Exactly.
Yeah, so for me, over the weekend I watched a movie called Renfield, and I've also been doing a little bit of Street Fighter 6 because that just came out.
Renfield is very close to Redfall, man. What the fuck?
It's also about vampires, by the way.
Wow. Is it? You didn't have to pay $100 to see it, did you?
No, I watched it for free because Trin streamed it over Discord for me to watch.
Oh, that sounds illegal. Oh, this is that
the Nicolas
Dracula
Cage
one. Ah, okay.
Yeah. And yeah, I also
look. Before you get into it, I just want to say the tagline for this Renfield movie is "Sucks to be him."
What?
Yep, you heard me. Sucks to be him, and I'm sure Seth will explain that to us.
Isn't that what you want to do to Seth?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's closing the loop. Like, he's calling it like a vampire movie, but it's actually hardcore porn of us two.
Finally,
which Trin streams over Discord.
Well,
gotcha.
How else am I supposed to shield the fast travel only fan? Fast travel fans. There we go. I got it.
I think that's
Fan
premature travel
lounge.
only fans.
Oh, it was like a casting lounge. Remember that casting? Oh man, we're on to something.
No, I don't know about the casting lounge because I am a pure and innocent boy.
Interesting. Totally online. Anyway, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt, but go on.
Yeah, and
you absolutely did.
I've been juggling Street Fighter 6 along with playing Tears of the Kingdom because I have 15 days to try and finish both of those game stories before Final Fantasy 16 comes out and ruins my life.
Yeah, fair.
And yeah, what about you, Patrick? What have you been up to?
So I've been just sinking lower and lower into the rabbit hole of Borderlands 2. It's good. Quick update. I'm now, so as I said last week, I say latest update. The last update from however many years ago now. Level cap is now 80. Highest OP level is 10. My highest OP level is 6. I'm slowly climbing my way there. I now have 2 characters at level 80. One at OP 6, one at OP 5. But 4 or 5. Might be 4, actually. Yeah, playing it, having a lot of fun. Still holds up. End of the Borderlands 2 report. Boom, even quicker than Steve's Redfall.
Am I the only one that's going to have topics to talk about this week?
No. I also saw the entirety. I've been watching Ted Lasso season 3, and the final episode came out this past week. Came out a week ago. Is that right? I think that's right. Came out a week ago.
About a week ago, Dan. I don't know that song.
If you're going to interrupt, at least make it a good interruption in future. So saw season 3, Ted Lasso, and also saw Across the Spider-Verse, and those two are much more interesting to talk about as they are actually new things to talk about, and not me continuing to beat on about how great a game that came out 11 years ago is, which it still is. Right. Why don't we do movie chat first? Renfield.
Yeah, sure. So Renfield is a movie that came out this year, and like Steven gave away earlier, it's the Dracula movie that stars Nick Cage's Dracula. It's a comedy horror, so it's not taking itself super seriously, and Nick Cage is just Nick Caging all over the role, is the way I want to describe it. He's not in the movie as much as I thought he would be, but at the same time, I think he's in there just enough because even though the movie's most advertisements and he's like the biggest name involved in it, he's more of a secondary character, and the character we actually follow is a guy named Renfield, who's he's Dracula's servant. He's a guy that has codependency issues, and so that kind of like makes him become really easily subjugated by Dracula's charisma and getting subjugated under him. And he spends about like 500 years trying to plan his escape from Dracula. And yeah, the movie's just kind of about that. He's Dracula had a fight with the Holy Man, is basically crippled. He's out of power. He's basically a skeleton when he's finished a fight. And the next 500 years, 90 years. 90 years is just there's that big of a gap in like what the setting looks like. I could have believed that the beginning of the movie was in medieval times, and then it jumps to modern day. But yeah, anyway, he spends the next 90 years recuperating. Renfield's been going out, giving him the bloods of innocents to recover, and in the meantime, he's trying to plan his get out of servitude of Dracula plan. And all the while this is happening, there's also this whole drug bust storyline going behind the scenes that ends up intermingling with each other.
Interesting.
I don't know if I want to get too much further into this because I think it's genuinely a funny movie to see. Like, it's not going to be high up there, and there's not like much of a plot to give away, but I think it's just kind of, I don't want to give everything away, just kind of nudge people towards watching it just like as a popcorn flick over a weekend or something, and
Is it
kind of
funny,
enjoy
like,
it.
Sorry. Well, yeah, no, I'm not sorry to interrupt. Well, I'm not going to lie to you, Steph. We're best buddies. Is it funny, like, clever Family Guy season 20 writing, or cringe, stupid Family Guy season 12 writing?
I don't know if I've seen Family Guy season 20. I don't know what the last season of Family Guy I actually saw was. But
was Brian alive?
It's only for like
Brian,
2 episodes.
I don't know if I've seen any episodes since Brian's. No, I've seen episodes of around the season Brian died and came back. So I've probably seen newer seasons. But no, to give an idea of like what the tone is or what to expect score-wise from this movie is written and I think directed by Robert Kirkman. No, written by Robert Kirkman, directed by Chris McKay. But Robert Kirkman's a familiar name here because he's done The Walking Dead and Invincible, the comics for those. So just kind of take those
cool.
Elements and think of what he'd do with a Dracula film.
It's Invincible, but don't forget he also, it's the same guy that did The Walking Dead. So, yeah.
Yeah, it gets very bloody, lots of funny moments.
Is this a comic book adaptation?
I don't think so. I think this is just written for film.
Ah.
But yeah, because Robert Kirkman, I think, has been getting into film writing, TV writing as well, just expanding out of comics.
Yeah, there's not a lot of money in comics.
No, there isn't. Jesus Christ, those people get really bad off.
It is if it get picked up, like Invincible, Walking Dead, All the Boys or something like that. But if it does not get picked up, enjoy having water for dinner.
Yeah. Turns out this is his first film project.
Oh, interesting.
He's written episodes for The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, Outcast, and Invincible. But for films, this is his first one.
He didn't write episodes. He wrote the fucking comic.
Yeah, but he also helps write episodes and how to expand them.
Ah, okay.
Like, just because they're getting adapted doesn't mean they don't get teams of writers to shift it from comic to TV.
Okay. I don't know how it works. Cool.
Yeah, some other fun casting decisions. They've got Nicholas Hoult, who was from Warm Bodies. I think I might have talked about that movie at some point. That was a 2013 romantic comedy movie about zombies.
Okay, that's why it was familiar to me. Yes. I know that one. And
Awkwafina is a traffic cop in this movie. She was a friend in why am I blanking? Shang-Chi?
I don't know the fuck you're talking about.
Sure.
The Marvel Kung Fu movie. Yeah, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. She was Shang-Chi's best friend in that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's some good casting direction. Everyone's given like enough time to kind of use their comedy chops a little bit in this. Awkwafina kind of plays the same character she played in Shang-Chi, in like her attitude, but that's not too bad. She was okay in that. She was pretty good in that movie as well. I knew I recognized the fucking main villain. He's Ben Schwartz is the main villain of the movie. He plays Sonic.
Yeah.
He's also in. He was popular in a TV show. I can't remember what one it was.
Ben Schwartz has been in a lot. I'm pretty sure. Wasn't he Parks and Rec?
Parks and Rec. That's the main one people know him for. Yeah.
Everybody go on to Ben Schwartz. Ben Schwartz.
Try it again. It's okay. Sound it out. First syllable.
Everybody go to Ben's Wikipedia page. It is the dumbest photo I've ever seen. It's
But yeah.
Okay, I'm assuming the pause is to allow people to do that.
Yeah. So just kind of like a quick cap off. Watch this movie. You're interested in seeing what it's like if Igor was codependent on Dracula and he was like treating it like a abusive relationship and going to couples therapy to try and get out of it, because that's kind of what a lot of the emotional core for Renfield is, and everything around that is just funny violence going on, and him getting into deeper and deeper shit because he keeps getting involved with a drug front. Overall, I think it was like a 7 out of 10, like not super high up, but I really enjoyed it.
Really enjoyed it, but not super high up. 7 out of 10.
Yeah, like 7 out of 10 is like
pick a lane.
I enjoyed it to the point where I'm positive about it, but it's not like hitting the greats where it's going to get 8 or above.
Sounds like it's 6 then.
No, that's what a 7's for.
It's a 5 masquerading as a 6.
It's 6 in a funny hat.
You know what? I'm going to check my.
It's 6, but with good lighting and a low angle.
I'm going to check my video game reviews for the year and see if there's anything else that hit a 7.
We're not comparing video game reviews to movie reviews. We're not doing this, Seth. It's 2 different points of medium. I don't have ice cream and then compare it to spaghetti carbonara. Like, it's not comparable. They're 2 different things.
I don't know. I think you can compare your enjoyment level.
Different things. But they're different types of enjoyment. Like, you've got, I borderline think it's unfair to movies because movies are shorter, whereas like,
I don't know, Redfall's pretty short.
Yeah, it could be a lot shorter, I guess. Yeah,
it could be. You've extended the time artificially by doing other things.
Yeah, and I'm having a worse time for it. I'm actually playing the game.
Yeah, imagine if a movie had side quests and shit graphics.
Hold on. I think there might be something there. I think someone might have actually tried that at some point.
Can you imagine if watching a movie on PC was shit, but watching it on PS5 was pretty good?
A choose your own adventure movie.
Well, just like watching a Disney movie, like in the original copy from the 90s, and then watching a Disney movie on Disney Plus now. Like, they do the remastering and stuff.
Yeah, and they scrap out all the details.
Good.
Yeah, but they remastered Lion King, and I don't like what they did with the graphics.
That's too real.
Pull it back.
Yeah, Uncanny Valley.
I've got to see that new Little Mermaid movie as well.
Not to mention lack of split screen in Lion King really held it back, I think.
Split screen. I wanted me to play as the lion, and I wanted my partner to play as the king. Yeah.
Yeah, choose your character. Do you want to be the lion or the king?
I wanted to play as the...
As the what?
The like, there's like the Lion King. It's actually 3 characters.
Sorry, yeah.
Mufasa has a great rush down, but he's got low life.
Oh no.
Yeah, I keep failing the quick time event. How can I save him?
Simba excels at the long game.
Spider-Man PS2 checking in.
They don't make them like they used to. Anyway, speaking of Spider-Man really PS2, The Amazing Spider-Man. Across the Spider-Verse.
Wow, what a segue.
All right, I'm ducking out because I'm watching that movie tomorrow.
I'm watching that movie on Saturday. So I don't know how we're going to do it.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm saving the long form discussion for later. It's basically to say, Jesus Christ, okay, listen to finish this episode and then probably go back and listen to like another like 2 or 3, and then drop everything and go and watch it. Holy shit, it's such a good film. The storytelling is amazing. The animation styles are amazing. They had over 100 named characters in this, which is just bananas for an animation film. And it was also 140 minutes, which there are there's only one there are two non-spoilery comments I want to make. One, when you go into it knowing that it's a two-parter, it's kind of interesting because it means that there are parts in the film where you're like, is this where we're going to get hooked into part two? Or are they going to try and self-contain this and then do a second part as its own self-contained one later? I'm not going to tell you which one they do, but just that there are a few moments where it's like, this feels like where they're going to cliffhanger us, like Infinity War into Endgame. You know what I mean? Of like, here's this big climactic moment, and then do they decide to cliffhanger it or do they not? And it's weird watching it knowing that there's a second part coming and how you interpret the events you see. The second non-spoilery thing, I love the tie-ins they do across the different Spider-Verses. Like they pull in influences. Yeah, Versi. I think it's a murder of Spider-Verses. I think that's the.
I thought it was
it's a Spider-Verse of madness.
No, Steve pulled the joke out from under me. I was going to say it's an Uncle Ben of Spider-Verses.
Gotcha. On the same wavelength.
Thanks,
also,
Steve.
just for fun math,
Go on.
if there's 140 minutes in the film and there's 100 named characters, that's one named character for every 1.4 minutes.
That's.
I don't think that works like that because minutes are 60, not 100. But yeah, cool. You do your big
He said 140 minutes, so.
But there's not like it's not. It
Go on,
matter.
Steve. Die on this hill.
I can't do math either. I'm not going to pretend.
Die on this hill like that character died in Across the Spider-Verse.
What character? Oh, Uncle Ben.
No, it's really cool. Into the Spider-Verse when it came out was a film that I loved enough that I went and actually saw twice in cinemas. This is another one that I could see myself seeing twice in cinemas. But funnily enough, one of the reasons I want to see it twice in cinemas is because where I saw it, the projector just fucking failed to start for the first 5 minutes of the film.
Oh no.
So we got all the ads and all the pre-roll, but as soon as the film started, it's a black screen and we hear the film and all of us in the cinema are thinking, this is an interesting artistic direction because it sounds like things are happening. And then someone crashes the back of the theater open and goes, sorry guys, we're fixing it. Like we know about it. Just hang tight. And so then the picture resumes, and we're like, so we restarting this pitch? What are we doing? They did not. They're
on a tight schedule.
Yeah, they are. That's the thing. They are.
Yeah, cool. Maybe they should have played it at the right time then.
Probably. Another non-spoilery part. One of the highlights of this film, storytelling-wise, are the storytelling sections done in Gwen's universe. I say it's not a non-spoilery part because that is the first area that it starts in. Holy shit. The little pockets of storytelling could be their own short films for how good they are. It's mind-blowing. And the thing is, people have I'm not quite sure because it's an animated film. There have been some like memes posted of things in the background. The thing is, there is so much detail in this film. I don't know if people are inserting their own details into stills or if that is just because they're there. But the thing is, I believe it. And so that's almost another reason why I want to go back and watch a second time because there's just so much to take in. No, very, very, very just excellent film.
Also, you say that about being able to have its own movie. They have come out and said that they're going to do their own spin-off for Spider-Woman down the line. I think they said it's coming very soon.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Yeah,
awesome.
It'll release with the Switch as well. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, man.
my Uncle Ben works at Spider-Man. He told me that it's coming soon. Don't worry about it. No, Uncle Ben, stay away from...
That man has a gun, Uncle Ben.
Oh my god, is that Tobey Maguire?
Yeah, well, with great Spider-Man comes great generic white guy that progressively getting younger and younger.
And there is the last thing I'll say. So hands down, it's really frustrating to say that this is one of my favorite animated films of the year, because I mean, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is an excellent animated film. I enjoyed Super Mario Bros. Movie. It's not a groundbreaking film. It's just it's fine. I can see why it did so well. It's very palatable. This is another very excellent animated film. I think it beats out Puss in Boots just because of how epic it is, but it's pretty close. I mean, between Puss in Boots and Into the Spider-Verse, if you're a kid going to the movies, you're having a good time, and if you're an adult hosting the Fast Travel Lounge and going to the cinemas, you're also having a good time.
Yeah.
I've actually seen a lot of people online trying to push this as like not just being titled as best animated movie of the year, but one of the best movies of the year in general.
I would agree with that. It was absolutely
bad year for
stunning.
movies. No, not really. I was going to say something, but I put it out of my mind.
Great, I interrupted him and pushed it out of him.
Not too late.
I finally got one over
got
him.
one back. Yeah. Get one back, Seth. What's up, Steve?
Yeah, you're right. You're not going to interrupt this time. Promise?
No promises.
So of those 104 characters, how many...
You want to know my favorite 20? In a tier list, perhaps?
Maybe. Ooh, hang on. Let him cook. Let him tier.
Hey, here we go.
How many of those are spider people? Spider... I don't want to say Spider-Man because I know a couple of them are female characters. But... I don't know where to... You know what I'm saying? Don't make me simmer here. Like, the more I talk, the more I'm scared I'm getting.
Yeah. Be careful with your language here, my guy.
No, I'm been cancelled. No.
So quite a lot of the named characters are various spider people from different spider universes. So the answer is most.
Okay.
I think even in the trailers, like a lot of the like if you've seen a trailer, there are moments where you see quite a lot of spider people just in the trailer, and that's where a lot of the named characters are, because they are distinct entities. Yeah, it doesn't really have a huge bearing. Like, I'm not saying all 100 plus whatever named characters all get their own time to shine, and you're like, oh man, my favorite character was that person that was on screen for 15 seconds.
Yeah, no, I can imagine it's probably like 20 characters are named in the space of like 2 minutes or something. I can imagine it's stuff like that.
It's more that sort of thing.
Because if it wasn't like that wouldn't be a good movie.
It'd be fucked.
But even like having that many named characters is a big task and ask for an animated movie.
Absolutely.
Because making them a named character makes them a hero asset. So they need a lot of time to cook.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I really want to get into a longer form discussion next week once you guys have seen it, and possibly when I've seen it a second time.
Oh, he's actually going to pay to see it twice. Interesting.
It is worth it. It is worth it. I saw the first one twice, and I like this one more.
Yeah, I saw the first one on the way back from America. It was on the TV, on the movie.
Oh yeah, that's basically the same thing.
I'm going to watch the first one again tonight before going to see the second one tomorrow.
No, it's in like what I meant by that. Epic. Like, I saw it 6 months ago. Like,
I see what you mean.
Yeah, like wasn't trying to flex on it.
There's one other. There's an Easter egg which I know for a fact that you two will spot, but it's the one of the most prominent Easter eggs, which is in the that point that I said earlier about there's a lot of detail in the background. There's one which is very easy to spot, which is background detail, which
I think I might have had that one spoiled for me already, thanks to Saved You a Click.
Shut up. Keep your mouth fucking closed.
It's possible you have, but I want to high five the team that decided that that was appropriate. Hilarious. The whole fucking cinema lost their minds.
Patrick, I will DM you if it's this, and you just say yes or no.
Sure. Where are you DMing me?
Don't you fucking DM in Discord, piece of shit.
I mean, it's a private message on Discord, not a group one.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I had that one spoiled for me like yesterday.
I'm so sad. I'm so sad you had that spoiled.
I had one other thing spoiled for me in a group chat. I wasn't expecting a Facebook group chat to spoil me on Spider-Man 2 stuff, but like Spider-Verse 2 stuff. but I'm so mad about that and left instantly and said, add me back in when I finish watching the movie.
Well, hopefully that'll be tomorrow. Anyway, that's 10 minutes. Yeah, there are some things that don't make it a perfect 10, which we'll get into next week because then that is going into the spoilery territory. But all up,
Spoiler cast week.
High nice.
Ooh,
that's all I'll say about that. Why don't we? I feel like you're going to want longer to talk about Street Fighter than I'm going to want to talk about Ted Lasso.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you want to go into Ted Lasso just to finish off the TV movie section?
Yeah, I think so. Ted Lasso, first of all, have you guys seen Ted Lasso?
I have not. Now that it's finished, I'm going to binge it all.
Fair enough. Steve?
I don't care. I have not seen a single episode. I probably will eventually.
Man has now gone through 2 podcast episodes live broadcasting sports ball, but does not want to watch Ted Lasso. Interesting.
I'm busy watching sports ball. I don't like. Do you just see the cognitive dissonance? Like I'm too busy watching sports ball.
Is the cognitive dissonance in the call with us now?
You know what? You should take your Redfield. You should take your Redfield time and put that into Ted Lasso.
You know what? I was actually thinking the other day I should finally watch Game of Thrones. Maybe I'll do that. I've actually got it downloaded in Minecraft.
Downloaded, he says.
I knew I shouldn't have said it. But in my streaming platform, wherever that is available.
Oh, man.
We are not sponsored by that particular streaming service, so they will not be getting a shout out.
So
the sharing bay is a streaming service you used.
If you're... Oh, my God.
You're going to jail, Steph.
You're the one that downloaded it, not me.
Yeah? How'd you play Tears of the Kingdom?
I found it on FitGill.
Don't act proud. Don't be proud of that. All right, so quick question. If you're planning on binging it, I probably shouldn't say anything spoilery then, yes?
Well, you're planning on binging it soon, Steph.
I don't know when I'm going to binge it, so go for it, I guess, because I probably will forget about it by the time I watch it.
Okay, it's not that there are. It's not like I'm going to drop any massive spoiler like Ted Lasso is secretly Uncle Ben and dies or anything.
Fucking knew it.
Jesus Christ! How could you?
How could
Ted Lasso? No, he has a gun.
Stay away from Tobey Maguire. No.
He's going to put a bullet in your eyes.
Jeez. It's not that there's too many things that you could spoil about Ted Lasso because it's like I don't think this is a hot take. Ted Lasso knows exactly what it is, and it executes in the little box that is the kind of dramedy sports ball intersection that it has. It doesn't do anything too wacky. The drama doesn't exactly go to too many cliffhangery places. All I mean by spoiler is that season 3 is the final season of Ted Lasso. Or, I guess that's not confirmed, but I would be very, very surprised if there was a season 4. That's more what I mean by spoilers. And so the final episode, which came out, as I said, a week ago, wraps up pretty much everything, and was a very, very good final episode for a series, which is, I think, quite rare because I am so sick of seasons trying to go, hey, let's just drop a spoiler that way. Let's drop a cliffhanger that way. The network will have to get us back for another season, and then the network doesn't, and then it just ends on a cliffhanger.
I don't remember the last time I saw a final episode that was really good. The last one off the top of my head is probably Scrubs. I know How I Met Your Mother, I hated the ending of.
Yeah, everyone... Okay, that's the canonical one that everyone hates. And then Friends is also
they
let
wrote
down.
themselves in, yeah. The Friends one was good. I like that ending of Friends. The ending of Seinfeld, however, that's...
AI-generated Seinfeld had a really bad ending.
Yeah. Let's not go there. No, they wrapped up a lot of plot threads really well. I quite enjoyed season 1. It's a weird parallel, but I can't shake it. In that I viewed Ted Lasso and Final Space very similarly, and you're like, hold up, those are 2 very different shows. I know, hear me out. Season 1, Final Space, was as soon as the show started, there are 10 episodes. These 10 episodes will comprise the entirety of Final Space, and there is no season 2. And then it goes all the way to the end, and you're like, oh, they dropped us a post-credits cliffhanger. Maybe there will be, and then there's a season 2. The problem is, all of the momentum that was season 1, the showrunners went, actually, we don't have to kind of constrain ourselves to this one because we're now a known quantity. We can expand in a lot of other areas. And so that's what they do. And so I, for the first half of season 2, was going, okay, but where's all the like high stakes, high pressure? Where's the drive that was there in season 1? And then they got to see, and then I realized about halfway through season 2, that's not what they're going for in this season. And then I settled in and enjoyed season 2. And then season 3 came out and nothing was fantastic because it really nailed what I liked about season 1 and season 2. And I would say Ted Lasso was very similar in that I liked season 1. Season 1 was fairly self-contained. It was more obvious that they were going to do a season 2 because it's sports ball. But I didn't like season 2 as much because they moved away from what I thought the core of the show was about and expanded it into a bunch of different areas. But then once I understood, no, this is what they want to do, just enjoy what they are showing rather than wondering why it's different from season 1. Enjoy it for what it is. I started enjoying season 2 a bit more. Still had some issues with it. I think I even might have talked about that in a previous episode. I don't know which one, but recent enough that I feel like I did discuss it on here.
You might have. You said a lot of things.
Yeah, I do say a lot of things. But overall, not as good as season 1, but not bad, just not as good as season 1. And then season 3, I consider to be a season of 2 halves, where overall, I quite liked the season, and I think it's my favorite season, not having seen season 1 or 2 for a while now, for at least a year, 18 months. What I mean about the 2 halves thing is that it felt very unfocused. It felt like there was an overarching thing they were trying to drive towards, and then they kind of started in the middle with a couple of someone said tonal whiplash, but they weren't talking about it in relation to Ted Lasso. It was something that they used. It was someone talking about Guardians of the Galaxy 3, that there was a lot of tonal whiplash. And I think that's a very good descriptor of some of the parts of
Wasn't
Ted
that
Lasso.
you?
No, but I got that from someone else, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't remember who said it. It might have been Schaeferless Productions or someone else, some other YouTube person talking about it. And I think Ted Lasso season 3 suffered a little bit of that as well, where they sort of went as for like a few episodes on the run. This is what's happening. This is what the antagonist is. This is what the kind of drama is based around. And then just like over the course of a season, over the course of an episode, this thing is no longer an issue, and this thing is now the big battle. Like this has changed, and this has changed, and this has changed, and it's just all. Everyone in the show is just kind of like, yep, everything, like life goes on, and then you watching it, and maybe this is because I was able to binge watch most of the season, and only the last couple episodes I had to wait because Apple TV did the periodic release rather than all at once.
Yeah, very common.
Yeah, but it's certainly becoming more common when they realize that, hey, we actually want people to stick around to subscription sites, which is funny because I'm watching it on a 3-month trial of Apple TV Plus.
Got him.
But yeah, that definitely smacked me a little bit in the middle. And then once I got over that hump in the middle, became good. Became just good. Again, I don't think it did anything crazy, but certainly memorable for just being a very high quality show. Does that make sense? Like it's not, I can't point to something that it did better than another show and be like, this is the moment that I went, Ted Lasso is a great show. But just the overall, like the average episode quality was just like pretty good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like the Breaking Bad effect. Like it's not, there's a couple of like standout moments, but there's overall every episode is fantastic.
Yeah, something
maybe
like
not
that.
every episode, but yeah, I think
like the broad feeling. Everyone goes, yeah, I really like Breaking Bad. What'd you like about it? And people say different things. There's no like something.
It's the tone, it's the storyline.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Those
scenes where nothing's happening, but something is happening. Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
When they were in Mexico and everything was yellow.
Well, actually, they're in New Mexico, so it's like a new shady yellow.
Yeah, okay, but I'm also talking about when they go to Mexico in a couple of the episodes, and then they'll just
oh yeah, that one, yeah, with Gus's backstory.
Yeah, and they're just like, let's just put a yellow filter
And then
on
they
shit.
use the old shade of yellow.
Yeah, old New Mexico.
Yeah, and because I'm watching it on my my laptop that has night mode turned on, so it already has a sepia tone, so I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that everything just looks like it's in Mexico to me.
You're just watching everything covered in piss.
Piss filter.
And I've just watched the Blues lose the Origin, so I've pissed myself.
Pissed in your own eyes. Yeah, it also, I know that, well, my memory of season 2 is that they tried to touch a little bit more on, maybe not current events, but tones and issues more relevant to people. And season 3, they really, they make it very obvious with a few parts of episodes about various just kind of societal issues, or not current events, but like there's like a few bits and pieces going on where you're like, oh, that's off-brand for the kind of dramedy expected episode, but I understand why they are making a point to talk about this, because it is an important issue, and I think they brought them in very well for the few bits that they did that. It got a little weird, and this is kind of what I mean with the tone of whiplash of like, some of these topics are pretty serious. Like, like one is one has a focal point about immigration policy, and it probably doesn't make sense as to why a show about a soccer coach is talking about immigration policy, but it will when you see season 3. But the thing is, it's only for an episode, and even then, it features maybe a grand total of 15-20 minutes all up, spread across two episodes. But it's a serious thing, both in the universe and the statements that they're trying to make about it. So it's kind of weird when everything just kind of gets resolved and then life moves on and it's never talked about again. So I'm sort of in two minds of like, I get why you felt it was important to bring it up, but it's odd that it wasn't so important that you didn't want to kind of keep bringing it up or like refer back to it at any point in the future. It did that with like a couple issues, and it doesn't take away from the series too much, because I also think if like if the soccer coach dramedy became a talking point about immigration policy, it would have probably been a worse show. But I'm saying it's kind of a weird line to walk where I don't know what the balance is, but it felt like the balance was just a little bit too whiplashy for some of the messages they were trying to get in. But yeah, and then it goes into the second half, and then quality picks up. Yeah, ties everything up with a nice bow at the end, and Ted Lasso rides off into the sunset for whatever the next project is. All in all, very good show. I don't really know who I would recommend the show to. It's got such a kind of mass appeal taste to it. It's kind of like one of those like, oh, have you seen Breaking Bad? You should really go watch Breaking Bad kind of things. You don't have to be a soccer fan to enjoy it.
I'm sorry, I just need to repeat that. You said if you really like Breaking Bad, you should go watch Breaking Bad.
No,
you should.
It's one of those. People say, I'm looking for a new show to watch, and everyone always says, have you seen Breaking Bad, or have you seen The Wire, or have you seen Game of Thrones? They're just kind of the big three generic recommendations. And I can see Ted Lasso fitting into the kind of generically recommended show, but it's not a show built for sports fans. It's not a show built for people that really like haha funny like sitcoms, because parts of it are very unfunny. But it's just one of those like generically appealing shows. Yeah, it's just got
mass appeal.
Yeah, and that's fine. I enjoyed my time watching it. As I say, back half of season 3, great. First half of season 3, fine. Just again a little bit sort of all over the place with some of what they were trying to set up. I think the character arcs, they really came full circle in season 3 for a couple of the characters. They do such a this is one of those like compliment criticisms where you hate a character so much because of how well they are played.
Oh yeah.
There's a couple of those where you're just like,
that's just good acting.
That's exactly the point. That's exactly the point.
Combination of good acting and good writing.
Yeah, you're like, I hate this character with a passion. Like, god damn it, they are so annoying. And then you realize, it's because of how well they are written and acted that I do have this visceral emotional reaction to them. And even those characters, they try to make sure that everyone gets closure at the end, which I think was a big ask given how expanded they tried to make everything through particularly season 2, but they did it. So that's all I have to say about that. Overall, back half of season 3, I'd say maybe 7 out of 10. First half of season 3, maybe a 6 out of 10. Still like in the recommendation ballpark, but nothing kind of knockout. Maybe 7.5 for the back half. Maybe I'm taking a page out of Seth's book with the, I wouldn't call it great to the 8, but like pretty good. You know, you'd be happy watching it. And
this is what a 7's for.
And then overall, Ted Lasso as an entire all-up series, 7, I guess. Not as good as overall as what season 3 was, but yeah, I would recommend people watch it, I guess. Do it on 3-month trials like I did, though. Get fucked, Apple. They can take all of the money they lost from me paying for an actual Apple TV subscription out of one person paying for the Vision Pro, but we'll get to that.
Oh boy, we'll get to that.
Cannot wait for that.
Yeah. Anyway, Street Fighter 6. I don't have a good segue to go from funny haha sports ball to punching each other in the face. So, Street Fighter 6.
I mean, that's essentially what sports ball is anyway. Is people pretend
sports balls.
Yeah, maybe. It's just an excuse to hit each other while there's a ball in the middle. But yeah, Street Fighter 6. I'm not really going to touch on the world tour yet because I've put a little bit of time into it, but
first of all, sorry, Seth, we should just contextualize. I've played, I think, 1 round of Street Fighter 5 and maybe 2 rounds of Street Fighter. We talked about this actually. Which one was the one on
PS3?
Either PS3 or Wii U.
I don't know if there was a Street Fighter on Wii U.
Okay, probably PS3 then.
Street Fighter 4.
Everything.
Street Fighter 4 was on PS3.
I've played 1 hour of getting my ass kicked in Street Fighter 4 and 1 game of getting my ass kicked in Street Fighter 5. Steve, have you played any Street Fighters?
I might have played a couple in arcade cabinets with friends at like pubs and stuff, but never something more serious. And I think that was like more Street Fighter 2.
Actually, complete tangent, but in the office, my office tries to be one of those like hip and cool. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Hip and cool offices. There's an arcade cabinet for Street Fighter 2, which is basically just a bunch of different arcade games, but Street Fighter 2 is one of them. Haven't played it yet.
Put $2 in it? $2 in there?
I mean, it's free, but people do put their dongers in there, I guess.
I mean, like dollars, like whatever, man. Whatever you do with your donger is your business.
I need to see if there's an arcade 1-up machine available with Street Fighter on it. Those arcade 1-up machines are pretty expensive, though.
And I guess to round out the context, Seth, you'd say you're a pretty big fan of Street Fighter, I assume?
Yeah, I put a decent amount of time into each of them. Like, I'm probably like beast when it comes to friends, but anyone higher than that, like people that go play locals and stuff, I'd get absolutely smashed by them.
So Smash is a different game, but I guess you're not a child, it's fine, don't worry about it. But I guess to make sure that you're a true Street Fighter fan, you wouldn't mind naming all 6 Street Fighters for us now, would you?
Yeah, there's Street Fighter 1, Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5, and Street Fighter 6. Would you like me to get into the spin-offs and the re-releases?
Definitely not. The joke already dead on the floor, just like me in Street Fighter games.
Do you like Street Fighter? Name 3 of them.
I can't.
Yeah, so the big single-player mode for this is called the World Tour mode. I'm not going to really get into that because, like I was trying to say before, I put a decent amount of time in there, but not enough like progress in it that I can make any rational discussion around it. Just a brief summary of what it is. It's basically like those old Mortal Kombat's PS2 story modes where you're given you make your own character, you run around the world in a 3D environment, and you fight people all over the place to like level up, increase your moveset, learn the movesets from all the main characters, and kind of get like a little bit of a Persona social link element where you gift items to them and increase your friendship level with them to learn all their backstories. There's neat stuff going on there, but yeah, that world tour mode is a lot of this is your character story and how they interact with the world, and it's pretty fun so far. From what I hear, it can go anywhere from as short as 12 hours to as long as 20 hours with still more stuff to do in it if you're doing all the side quests. So that's going to be a hefty experience, and a lot of people say that alone is worth the asking price for the game. So I'll give a proper review of it later down the line, but that's just a brief summary of what that is. What I will talk about is going through the arcade modes of everyone and the weirdness I feel about the character stories. And I know that stories in fighting games don't matter a whole lot, but I still think they're kind of important in the same way that wrestling fans think the story is important because you want to buy into the world and the characters, and you need something cool to latch onto for picking a character in a fighting game. Like, just having Karate Man there, he does karate, isn't enough to latch onto liking a character, but giving them...
I don't know, Karate Man does karate, it's good enough for me.
Maybe for you, but for a lot of people, that's not enough. Like, you've got Ryu and Ken, and they're completely different characters, and 90% of people, probably even 99% of people will say Ken is a much cooler person because he's got a much better like story and personality behind him than Ryu, who's just Karate Man. But yeah, before Street Fighter 6 came out, they did this whole 4-issue manga that was detailing what... So I bring up Ken for a reason. They did this whole background story on what's happening with the world and this new country called Nishal. What happens in that is basically Ken is using his foundation to put money into the country and help them develop as a nation. And one of the leaders of the country, Jovan Petrovich, I think was what his name is. It doesn't matter too much because it's a fake name anyway. He's using the money. He's embezzling the money and using a fighting tournament to. He's using a fighting tournament in the country to kind of sweep all the money under the rug, put it into illegal gambling, and just make riches off of it. And there's a civil war going on at the same time, and Ken gets caught in the middle of it, framed as a terrorist. And they end the story in a really dark place for him, where he's his son's almost murdered. He's separated from his family. He's still on the run for being called a terrorist, and so on and so on. When you get into Street Fighter 6 and do the arcade modes, Ken was the first one I did because I was most interested in what was going on with him. Almost immediately they go, yeah, so in between that manga and the starting of Street Fighter 6's arcade mode stories, Ken's name got cleared. He could go back home and be a family man if he wanted to, but he's left his position in the foundation and separated himself from his family while he tries and gets his head together. And it ends with the villain of the story, JP, coming up and just kind of messing with him a little, and it's teasing that Ken is probably going to go into like a revenge-filled rampage at some point later down the line, but that's where the story ends, and that's where the story ends for a lot of people, actually. Like, they all feel like set up, but then like they're setting things up for going into World Tour, but then the characters don't actually do a whole lot in World Tour. I think the character that'll probably do the most in World Tour is JP because he's the main villain of the game.
Wait, hang on, back up, Poindexter. So is the arcade, the arcade end stories, for lack of a better term, are they supposed to be prequels, or is it a standalone side story?
They're like prequels to the World Tour, but more for knowing where the characters' situations are in the world, sort of thing. You don't.
Okay, so it doesn't do like the Tekken thing where it's like this character won the strongest under the heavens tournament or whatever it was.
No,
and
it's
each
none of
arcade
that.
thing has the same fucking ending. It's like, oh, this is what this character did if they won the tournament. It's like a bunch of what if stories, and I fucking hate that.
Yeah, no, these are all like, this is actually happening to the characters, but
Okay.
even though it's a prequel to World Tour to know what they're up to, it's also just kind of side stories because what they're up to doesn't amount to a whole lot. That'll probably change once I get later into World Tour, but finishing everyone's arcade modes, it just kind of feels like everyone's in their filler arc right now, which is a really weird thing to think about because I'll take Ryu, Luke, and Jamie right now. Ryu is Mr. Street Fighter, the main character of the franchise. Luke is the main character of the game, and Jamie is Luke's rival. Luke has a heavy involvement in the manga because he's a military soldier that's going after Ken and looking after Ken's son while Ken's on the run. All three of their arcade modes amount to, there's strong people in the world, I'm gonna go fight strong people for a couple of minutes and then nothing's gonna happen. And that's...
Are they good? Hang on. How many fights are the arcade mode?
So you get to choose between doing 5 rounds with five rounds, but there's 4 actual matches and a mini game in the middle, or you get to do 12 rounds with spread out more mini games and more matches. I don't know how many mini games are in there because I've just done 5 rounds for everyone. I haven't done the 12 round ones yet.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So
do you got a main yet?
Not yet.
Or do you want to? Yeah, okay. Didn't think so.
There's 5 characters I'm interested in at the moment. But I'm not going to settle on a main until I finish the World Tour story mode and then hit up online properly. But at the moment, just from doing the arcade modes, I really like Cammy. I really like Marissa. I really like Jury. I really like Jamie from playing him in the beta. And I was surprised to find out I really like Manon. And she is really scary to fight against because she has this whole system where the more she grabs you, the more powerful she gets. So the longer the match goes, the stronger she's going to get, and the more she's going to try and steamroll you.
Jesus. That's all right.
But yeah, arcade modes, they're fun to do, but like story-wise, it's really weird to just kind of get this like everyone's either in their filler arc or they're setting up for story developments to come. Like Cammy and Chun-Li stories end on we found out Shadowloo is still existing somehow. We're going to go and do something about that, but we're not going to do something about that yet. We're just getting ready to do something about that. And yeah, there's just a few characters like that. A few, like a really funny one is doing Doll Sim story and finding out this new character Lily. He sensed the Satsui no Hado, which is basically like dark martial arts energy. He senses that in her, and she's like a pure spirit little girl that is just going through the world and traveling for the fun of traveling. So him sensing like this really dark energy in her is an interesting thing to set up, but at the moment there's no payoff for that setup, and that's what all these arcade modes amounts to right now. They're setting things up, but there's no payoff just yet. And yeah,
it sounds weird that they're setting it all up like that.
Yeah, so it's probably all for the World Tour mode, I hope. If it's not, I don't know what they're going to do. Because they do a Street Fighter every generation, so doing a Street Fighter 7 that advances these characters' storylines is going to be really, like, it's going to be a long wait. It's going to be at least a 5 to 6 year wait.
Yeah, well, oh well. What, you reckon I might close it off with DLC or nah? They don't do story DLC.
Yeah, they did a story DLC for Street Fighter 5, but that was because there was no story when the game released.
Oh,
so
that's bad.
Yeah, so maybe they'll do a cinematic story down the line, but they haven't said anything about it. And yeah, so fun game so far. Like, I really highly recommend it. Just playing the arcade mode, playing the little bit of World Tour I have so far. Everything's really fun to do in this game. I know it's really weird to say that after like complaining about the arcade mode story, but again, fighting game arcade stories don't matter a whole lot. They're just something
Yeah,
to
you're
do to
right.
try and latch onto a character personality that you really like or a playstyle you really like.
In terms of like this game compared to previous ones, because as I say, I haven't played many Street Fighters. Have they innovated the gameplay itself in any way, or is that all sort of coming in the world tour and other things that you haven't really gotten into yet?
So in gameplay, yes, but so this give me a second to get around this. So the world tour is one thing. Like I mentioned, that it's very similar to the old Mortal Kombat PS2 story modes. And this is new for Street Fighter doing this, and I think it does it better than the Mortal Kombat games did. And I think like this is the most fun way to do a story mode in a fighting game, like what Mortal Kombat does and what Tekken did before, where it's just playing cinematics and then you go into a fight. Those are neat. They're really interesting ways to handle a story. But I think actually like getting to explore the world, interact with the characters and everything is just a more fun and dynamic way to take on a story mode. And again, this being new for Street Fighter is one way they're kind of like expanding and trying to make Street Fighter a more full package than what it used to be.
Right, so that's more in terms of what they're offering to do in the game. I mean, like mechanic wise, have they?
Yeah. That's why I'm trying to break it down a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
But yeah, like I just wanted to hit that. Like, hey, this is one thing they're doing that really helps like push Street Fighter more than it ever has before, and I think that's kind of important. Mechanically, they've introduced this thing called the drive system, which is a green bar that's underneath your health bar, and that's basically your stamina meter for the match. Not the match, the rounds. Once it's drained, it does take a little bit of time to recover. But while it's recovering, you're in a really vulnerable position. But what that's tied to is they've taken EX moves away from your super meter and added it to that drive bar instead, which frees up your super meter to just be for supers, which is a really interesting change because a lot of people just used the super bar for EX moves because it was a better option a lot of times to use it for that rather than doing your big cinematic moves. Sorry, just had to clear my throat. They've added parries back. They've changed it how it works from Street Fighter 3 and made it like hold down 2 buttons and you just enter a parry stance. It's a really
is that simple or are you just about to explain it?
No, it's that simple. You just hold down medium punch and medium kick and you'll just enter a stance where all physical attacks just get parried no matter where they're coming from. The downside to this is that letting go of the button puts you in a lot of recovery, and it's really easy to just kind of punish you and grab you out of it. So a lot of people will try to go for perfect parries most of the time, which is you activated the parry on the first frame of the move hitting you, and that gives you a big counter opportunity. But perfect parries are also like, because it activates frame 1 and people will just hold down the button on their wake up, they also have they also reduce your damage you do on counters. So there's like a weighted way of handling this because parries in Street Fighter 3 were way too powerful. You just tapped forward to parry someone's offense and punish them for trying to do anything against you. And it made the game very defense heavy. So this is like trying to find a balance between attack and defend, and I think it's doing it well. They also the drive meter is also tied to 2 other mechanics called drive impact and drive rush. Drive impact is basically focus attacks from Street Fighter 4, where you go into like a charge position and do one big heavy attack. It takes 3 hits or a grab to or a drive impacts back to try and counter those or just stay out of the way of it. Really powerful tool. It's getting used a shit ton in both low and high play, just because it blows up a lot of people if they're not aware of it. So pretty neat. It's a pretty neat mechanic that people have to just kind of learn to deal with. And drive rush is the one that I'm really into, in that out of certain moves and out of parry, you can input a dash, and that'll let you run like a quarter of the screen forward, I want to say. You're vulnerable to attacks when that happens. But if you catch people off guard, you can do a lot of things out of it. You can implement it in the middle of combos, so people are doing like really high caliber combos where they start off just hitting you and then they're dashing in to close the gap from like a juggle point and then dashing again and then ending with a super, and it's really fancy stuff that I can't execute at my level of play just yet. And
like a good filtered skill issue, etc., etc.
My favorite way of using it is playing Zangief, doing that dash right in the middle of neutral. So like neutral is where both players are just trying to feel each other out and lands their hits. I just drive rush into someone's face and then do his big grab that does like a quarter of their health. Yeah, so all of those are tied to your green meter. So the game becomes a balancing act of spending that meter, trying to recover it so you don't go into burnout and being vulnerable. It's a big push and pull kind of mechanic, and I think that's changed up how people play Street Fighter a decent degree. You can try and go all in with it, burn yourself out, but try to get as much damage as possible out of it, or reserve it for more defensive options. And just that simple of a change of adding that meter, moving some things over to it, has really changed up player expression for this game in more high level play.
Yeah. Okay. So when you hitting online? When you become number one, I'm going to become number one at Pokemon. You're going to become number one at Street Fighter. Pat's going to become number one at hosting. The world's greatest podcast. Yeah, already up. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Ranks mode, I probably won't hit for a little while. I'm going to keep it to just playing with friends for now while I do the story and try to finish Tears of the Kingdom. Once I finish the story for this, I will start hitting up ranked and become the best on this podcast.
Okay. Wouldn't be that hard though. I don't intend to play it or have it occupy my mind in this light.
You know what? That's very fair.
Yeah, well, I'm not a fighting game guy anyway. Street Fighter just seems a bit. I'm not sure how
are you more of a road fighter?
What? Oh yeah. I hate roads. Fuck roads. All my homies hate roads.
Road basher. You got Street Fighter and then you got Road Basher.
I don't have anything funny to say. Pathway Basher. Lounge Basher. Hey, how about that?
Crescent Crasher.
Oh, hang on.
The idea is to use different words, guys. The knockoff has to have similar sound, different words that mean the same thing.
Anyway. You done, Seth?
Yeah, I think I'm done with this topic now.
Well, it just seemed like everyone was sort of waiting for him to finish, and then he was waiting for us to say something to make him finish, and then no one said anything.
Well, people complain when I finish too quickly otherwise, so.
I was thrown off by your guys making bad bad knockoff names for Street Fighter that just ended with fighter.
Oh, I have one. Mortal Kombat. Wait, shit. Sorry.
Mortal Kombat 1?
Mortal Kombat with a C.
Wasn't that just a knockoff of Mortal Kombat 1?
Maybe? Is it a knockoff of Mortal Kombat or is it a knockoff of Mortal Kombat?
You mean the game based on the movie or the game based on the movie based on the game?
I think it's the movie based on the game based on the movie.
That would be it. That would be it. I must be confusing it with Ratchet and Clank.
Yes. That one that actually has a game based on the movie based on the game.
All right, now we're really moving on. All up, Seth, from what you've played so far, I know that you said you'd recommend it, but do you have a score out of 10 to give it so far, or you still want to give it a little more time to cook, as the kids say?
I think I'm very comfortable giving it a 9 right now, unless something really changes down the line.
Boy! All right. What'd you give 5 by comparison, if you remember? Or what would you give 5?
Street Fighter 5 is like a 7.
So it is an improvement all around then.
5 in its current state is like a 7, I'd say. 5 when it released was probably a 5, actually.
Interesting.
The number matches the score.
Not giving this one a 6.
Well, this one, it's unfair to say that because 5 on release was just fight. That's it. Fight online or fight a computer. They didn't even have local verses. You know what? I'm dropping down to a 4.
Jesus.
Oh, then what'd you get Street Fighter 4 then?
Street Fighter 4, I give I think that's like a 7.
Man.
It's been a long time since I played Street Fighter 4.
I need a math degree for the scoring system.
Yeah, I don't think we should. Yeah, we need to hash out the FTL.
Tier list.
No, not.
So at the very top is Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Everyone hates it, but I love it because it has a bad box art Mega Man. It also has Cole McGrath if you play it on the PS3.
Oh, excellent. I heard he hates Streets even more than you do. Well, unless you're playing as evil, in which case you love Streets because they're a fast way to get negative rep by doing unspeakable things to civilians. Anyway, I'm going
to ask that we move on because I'm trying to come up with something funny to say and I just can't.
There is nothing
there's nothing coming to mind off what you just said.
Yeah.
Don't worry, that's what I'm here for. We will move on. Move on right into part 2 because we finished Round the Lounge for this week. So thank you to, well, I would say to you both. Mostly to you, Seth. Thanks for the little Redfall chat. Actually, no, you know what? Fuck you for bringing up Redfall, Steve. You ruined the podcast.
You know what?
I'm going to bring it up. Guess the game the other day was Redfall. Somehow I got that in one guess and it took Steven 3 guesses.
I was so mad about that because one of the images was Blue Oyster Cafe and I'm like, that looks like a Saints Row thing. So I went through a few of the Saints Row games and went, all right, I'm out of ideas. But I recognized the HUD. I recognized the HUD, and then when I saw it was Redfall, I kicked myself because that's where I recognized the HUD. I was so upset.
I just saw Autumn Leaves, and I was like,
Redfall.
Is that? I'm going to put Redfall in just in case, and it was right.
Way. Yeah, no, that was, and that's from like the title screen as well. It's like the bottom third. I don't know how you fucking got it.
Man literally handed Guess the Game to a controller to his brother.
I reckon he cheated. That's why he got it.
I'm the older brother that gets the controller handed to them.
As long as it's Redfall.
In fact, I took the controller. I was a little shit. While my brothers were gone, I'd unpause the game, die, and then take the controller saying they died on their life, so it's my turn. I was a shit, actually.
You know what? Well, when I bring up Vampire Survivors, which I did this week. No one just.
You should compare it to Redfield.
Redfield, even. What's Redfield?
Fuck, Redfall. I'm mixing up Renfield and Redfall now. But yeah, compare it to Redfall, the two vampires video games you've been playing lately.
They're very different. One of them,
but they both involve vampires.
Yeah, one of them's a shooter. One of them's a non-shooter, a moving simulator, if you would. Anyway, enough.
Speaking of moving things, we're going to move along. Boom, nailed it. Yeah, as I said, round lunch for this week done. It means we get to move on to part 2 for this week, which is, of course, the news. First of all, we picked a really bad day to record because tonight, in 2 hours, 2 hours? 3 hours, we have the final digital event for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, which every time I've looked at YouTube today has been on my front page. Guess how many people are currently waiting for it?
7.
280.
700 actually. So Seth wins by Price is Right rules. But no, they're just hanging out. Even when I looked at this like way earlier in the day when I was putting on a music mix while working, 100 people were waiting. It was at least 12 hours away, and people are like, oh no, we'll hang out and wait. So glad that we have some diehard Monster Hunter fans alongside me, who I guess by looking at this is now also one of those waiting. But we'll end up.
What do you reckon it's going to be?
I've said this before.
I reckon they're just going to announce they're taking it offline.
Going to be okay. You shut up. You shut up right now. No, as I've said multiple times, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a subspecies of Malzeno, and that'll be the final monster they introduce for Sunbreak. If I'm right, I called it as of about a month ago, and I am literally omniscient. So wait and see. Other thing I want to quickly bring up. Not really in that it's newsworthy, but just because I want to hit you guys with a current event because I think it's very funny.
Oh, current events! I love those.
While playing Borderlands 2, I'm playing with a couple other friends, and one of us asked, "Isn't it crazy that we're probably the only 3 people playing Borderlands 2 right now?" And so me being me, had to jump on the old Steam charts and had to look it up. I will give the first one to you as a freebie. Current players in Borderlands 3. This is the game that came out in 2019, I think.
That sounds about right.
Yes.
Sounds about right. Yeah. Current players on Steam, according to Steam charts, 3,576. 30-day average, 4,600. So, not horrible, not particularly stellar, but it is a 4-year-old game. And, it is available. It was also a reminder, it was available on Epic first. So there was a 1-year exclusivity window, but also other consoles not factored in, all the other stuff. So 3,500, that's the ballpark. How many people do you think, within reason, is the current players for Borderlands 2?
Like, currently playing?
Yeah,
3,500 was the Borderlands 3 one.
3,500 was Borderlands 3. How many do you think are in Borderlands 2?
I'd say about like 10,000, actually.
I was going to go with 11K.
But no, you weren't.
I was thinking 10, 11K, and you said 10K, so I'm like, well, I got to take the bigger one.
11K and
I don't know where you guys get off. It's 1,800.
Oh. So by Price is Right rules, I'm still a winner, right?
No, wrong.
You've gone. I think I'm the winner actually because you've both gone way over. Oh well, I guess I keep the dune buggy in the vending machine. No, it was surprising given that it's an 11-year-old game. Of course, I made that comment when I first looked this up when I was playing, and then I went, actually, that doesn't make any sense because you can look at Dota 2, which is also 11 years old, and there's like several 100,000.
That's different, but like you can win money by playing that, and that's it.
Yeah, true. But the funnier one is that TF2, I don't remember what the numbers were. I can't remember looking it up now. But the according to Steam charts, the highest number of concurrent players they've ever had. When I looked it up, 60% of that value was still current players. So let's say 100,000 players concurrently was the highest they ever had. There were still 60,000 people playing in terms of current players for TF2. Blew my mind.
TF2 is weird. I'm not sure what type of people like playing that aren't like weird like hackers and have just fucked the server up, and as soon as you spawn in, you get 360.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm
pretty sure those servers are still fucks right now.
Anyway, it was an interesting value.
Also, I want to give a quick live update on another reason why Street Fighter 6 is getting a 9 from me.
What?
I
just saw this and remembered why this is a perfect thing I need to bring up. There's this whole Battle Hub arena section where you go in and it's got like rooms set up like an arcade would be, and people like match up with each other. They also went insane and did a chat room on the bottom corner of it. So you're constantly getting bashed by people being the saltiest bitches about this game, and it's wonderful. Constant scrub quotes going off every couple of minutes.
Excellent. No, the second half of the funny haha Borderlands Steam chart lookups. Borderlands 1, in case it's of interest, 200 players. 229 current players apparently. Borderlands the pre-sequel, which, a reminder, came out after Borderlands 2, only 249 players. I thought that one was pretty telling. Here's the last two. I'll give you this one for free, and I want the follow-up. Tales from the Borderlands came out circa 15-ish, I think, the Telltale game.
Something like that. That sounds about right.
Roughly.
It has 10 current players. How many players do you think are in the new Tales from the Borderlands, which came out last year?
5.
15. Actually, no, I wouldn't say like 30.
Well, by Price is Right rules, you are both wrong. 2.
Oh.
Damn it.
Right.
I was so close to. I was lowballing that on purpose.
See,
just for the funny meme, and they lowballed me.
The 30-day average for new Tales from the Borderlands is 4.6. So even the 30-day average is below you, Seth. Imagine releasing a game that within 8 months of release has 2 people currently playing on Steam. Oh, man. Not Forspoken. What's the other one? Babylon's Fall. Babylon's Fall where? Anyway, I just thought that was really funny because, yeah, I only assumed there'd be maybe 100 people playing Borderlands 2. I'm quite delighted that there's 1,800. The 30-day average is nearly 3,000. It's really cool to see that there are still a lot of people interested in Borderlands 2 like I am. Anyway, next up in the news, some Twitch drama. Wahoo! Ring the alarm bells. Twitch scores another own goal. They looked at the state of the company after letting a bunch of people go, and they said, how can we make the world a worse place to exist in today? And they come up with a few ways. Well, one of them is good. Every other one is absolute dog shit awful. The one good thing that they did, they released a tool that said if you're doing a content sponsored stream, you can now mark it as a sponsored stream, and then it tells people that it's a sponsored stream. Good. Overall good. Saif, you seem fairly familiar with this, given that I believe actually you do some streaming yourself on the side. Do you know?
Yeah, every now and then.
On which on what channel would that be?
It is on twitch.tv/Kai_Burr. That's CAI_BEHR.
But the thing with that, are you still going to be streaming there, given some of these changes?
Yes, because there's nowhere else to stream.
What about YouTube gaming? What happened to Facebook gaming?
Facebook gaming is dead. YouTube buries streams. Like, the only people that are doing well on YouTube are the HoloLive VTubers and like similar to them. If anyone else is trying to start up on YouTube, you just get no push at all.
Oh, well, I guess.
Like, there's no Twitch at least has some discoverability for new streamers. YouTube, there's no way to discover new streamers.
Anyway, to cut to the chase, they released a bunch of guidelines in the last 24 hours, at least as of recording, that have completely just shot in the foot the chances of any, particularly any event organizer, doing any kind of event organization in the future, because
Evo is dead.
Yeah, burned in at pretty much every Smash tournament is dead. Burned in ads are now outlawed, which affects basically every esport. So interesting move. And they've also made a bunch of guidelines around any other kind of sponsorship content for a stream, including that if you want something persistent on screen, it can't take up more than 3% of it, which I don't know if you know math that well, but 3% of 100 is not a lot.
No, not at all.
It'll be interesting. This was universally hated by basically everyone with a pulse. So interesting move.
Yeah, anyone who read it or was in earshot of it happening.
Yeah, and then Twitch came out and they said, "Oh no, guys, you misunderstood. We'll adjust the language so that way, we'll make it less confusing for you." To which everyone said, "No, it seemed pretty intent with what you wanted to do here."
Yeah, it's very strange.
Isn't there a quote by Moist Critical you want to hit us with on that situation, actually?
Yeah, he released a bit of a deep dive on the situation. He, of course, being one of the most popular Twitch streamers, where he thought that take was particularly funny. And his reply was something to the effect of, they drew out a fucking picture book to make it as simple as possible to understand what was allowed and what wasn't. So he and a lot of the internet is quite confused by what Twitch thought we misunderstood, because it seemed like they were pretty clear in what it is they were trying to do. What were you going to say, Steve?
Yeah, it's just to use a sports analogy, it'd be like having like the broadcast of the footy on and they've got their ads, but then the players as individuals can't be sponsored by like individual companies.
You know what? WWE actually does have that rule, and
it does. I knew it. I knew a sports analogy would work. I'm sorry, it's wrestling, everybody.
Oh no, you've set them off.
We've set them off.
Oh, here we go.
I don't know if that rule is still in effect, but back in 2011, I think it was, when CM Punk had his whole pipe bomb moment. This was him going off script and just ranting about the company live on TV, and they had to cut off his microphone, and he basically left the company right after this happened. One of the things he complained about was that people under contract with WWE, they weren't allowed to take sponsorships, but the only person that was allowed allowed to be sponsored was Brock Lesnar, because Brock Lesnar is too big of a name for WWE to tie down, so they just let him get away with whatever he wanted.
Yeah, of course the big names get away with it.
Yeah, so I don't know.
What are you going to do? Stop him? He will kill you.
He will eat you.
Or he'll just go to a rival wrestling studio.
I don't think he'd ever go to a rival
might.
wrestling studio. He'd just probably go back to UFC or just go home and live off his millions of dollars he made from UFC and WWE.
He might very well go to a rival wrestling school, but that's not before he literally eats you.
Good.
He uses your ribs as toothpicks.
Ooh, hang on.
He is a very, very scary man. Yeah, no, I can imagine WWE being like, no, you can't take sponsorships. Brock's like, oh, okay.
Oh, bet.
Picks
You don't
up
want
a car.
arms?
No, a huge own goal for Twitch. The biggest backlash that I've seen is that the head of OTK, which is basically a ring of
Of
like
the
just
kingdom.
No, one touch kill.
Yeah. Close, Steve. Don't worry. You'll get him next time, champ. The
Was it
the
actually
leader
one
of-
touch kill? Because that's just a fighting game term.
No, I actually don't remember what OTK. At one stage I did, but I've only seen it as OTK, and I don't really follow their content, so I'm gonna get crucified in the one comment that someone's gonna leave on this one. But
I mean, XQC is a big name, and my brother watches him, but I don't.
I'm sure you don't. It's just on in the room while I'm in there. I'm not watching it.
Well, watch the one comment roasting me being Steve when he goes and looks up what it's actually called. They are basically an org, basically an esports org, but I don't think they have a proper esports team, but they just comprise just a bunch of huge name Twitch streamers. The leader of that's basically said, look, this is going to fuck us over because so much of our revenue is from sponsored content. So we will take OTK elsewhere, which I mean, economically, the top probably 1% of streamers on Twitch are disproportionately represented in the OTK roster. So that's probably going to be a huge chunk of change for Twitch. So we'll see which of them is bluffing. But yeah, it's going to be hard to know. And the sad part, this is Rizzo's take from something he put up. He's a big Rocket League name. He was saying quite a few people have the idea that this is so stupid that Twitch couldn't possibly follow through. And Rizzo's line was, I hope that's true, but they've done shit like this in the past that I don't know. They might very well push through with this
I feel
one.
like at least once a year, Twitch makes some boneheaded decision. They get massive pushback against it, and then they're like, no, we'll reword it, and then they just double down anyway, and everyone forgets about it.
Yep. Yeah. It's a sad state because, they are the biggest name in streaming in general, really, as well as the home of esports. But shit like this is going to push everyone away from them.
I also want to add on top of that is that they're also changing their rule on simulcasting. So, partnered and affiliates beforehand, they had to sign in on their contracts that whenever they're streaming on Twitch, they're not allowed to simultaneously live stream their broadcast to other rival platforms. Like you can't simulcast on YouTube Gaming or anything like that. Anyone that's not like affiliated or partnered or anything like that, they were open and free to do that because they got to build themselves up. Twitch isn't going to lock them down until Twitch is actively making money off their subs. Now they've just updated their terms and services to say, no, if you're streaming on Twitch at all, no matter what level of Twitch streamer you are, you're not allowed to simulcast.
Bum, bum, ba, bum.
Yeah, so this is like lower on the totem pole than the whole advertisements and branded content happening, but this is still an extremely boneheaded decision to do.
Remember that it's not even been, certainly less than a year, maybe even less than 6 months, where Twitch saw some people having a 70-30 revenue split and went, actually, we could be making more money off of that. Let's do 50-50. Gonna be interesting. I know that they are losing money. I certainly feel for them, given the uncertain times and everything else, but this does not feel like a way to stop that from happening.
Just make a better platform.
Pretty much. There's
we can make the lounge.
We could. It would have to only be on Twitch, though, and I don't know if we want to do that. given how popular we are on every other
How hard
platform.
it is. Just set up a back end, put some TB things on there. Yeah, people will come flying to us.
The final thing I'll say
Are
about
you
Twitch.
suggesting we make our own Twitch competitor?
How hard could it be? Twitch did it.
YouTube is trying to do it.
No, I mean, Twitch literally made their own Twitch competitor. It's called their new terms of service.
Remember Mixer?
Yeah, I
No.
remember that. How did that affect Microsoft stocks?
They got out. They pulled the cord.
Ninja took the money and ran.
With his braless wife.
Who was giving him a sandwich.
Oh, man. What an interesting man he is. No, the final thing
Is
I'll
he
say on
still
Twitch,
streaming?
I think so, but who the fuck knows? And to be honest, who the fuck cares?
Yeah,
If you
no, I'm
watch him,
just wondering because
congrats.
the man's rich enough that he doesn't need to.
Yeah, exactly. No, the final thing I'll say on Twitch, I follow a bunch of tech YouTube channels, and one of them is run by a former Twitch employee, Theo. Shout out to Theo. I know he loves Fast Travel Lounge. His kind of, it's like I'm condensing his takes into a single sentence, but he thinks it's symptomatic of Twitch's problem when every streamer that streams on Twitch has to use third-party plugins like having the chat live fed into the screen in the top corner. That that classic Twitch look where the chat's just streaming down one side of the screen is not a native Twitch plugin. That's a third-party app. And the fact that so much of what streamers rely on is third-party rather than supplied by Twitch is symptomatic that Twitch just doesn't know what they're doing. Anyway, if you want more takes of his, he goes into depth in several videos about what his thoughts on Twitch are since leaving Twitch. Very interesting. But yeah, that's Theo on YouTube. Theo, I think this channel's like TheoT3.gg or something because he's plugging his own company. Anyway,
We expect a shout out back for that, by the way, Theo.
we do. Him and his slightly more subs than us. We're catching up. We'll pass him eventually, but him and his 170 something thousand subs. Yo, what's up? Anyway, let's move on to. I was going to say less sad news, but I see that it's got anime in the name. Quit2 should be banned. One of the
Fuck
heathens.
you.
Seth, why don't you take this one?
Sure. So
This is a me story.
yeah, this was a Steven one. So
Quit2. I didn't think my respect for you could go any lower, but go on, Steve.
Interesting. I didn't think I could also respect you less as a host. So
You absolutely could.
there's been some bubbling around recently about Atlas doing a Persona 3 remake or a remaster or something to do with Persona 3 that isn't a fucking port of portable. And it looks like we might be upcoming announcement might be impending because P3RE has been registered as a domain.
Persona 3 Resident Evil?
Sure, why not?
They've already remade that one. Persona 3
Yeah, we're
Resident
making it
Evil 4 remake.
No, this is the Persona version. It's just a skin swap.
Persona 3 Royal Escape.
Ooh. But yeah, so this is giving a lot more credit to those rumors and those leaks. Probably the interesting thing for me will be who announces it. Like, will it be Sony announcing it? Will it be
It'll be
just
a
the
leak.
Game Fest? Well, Xbox has put a lot of money into bringing Atlas games to the Xbox platform, whether it's like Soul Hackers 2 on Game Pass, 3, 4, 5 onto like the Xbox console itself, and they've never been on the system previously. And they're obviously very new with them in shilling it, and it would be pretty interesting. And there's also like as a general Atlas showcase, there's something happening in like July the 3rd for the Shin Megami Tensei's 30th anniversary. And as I'm probably sure that we're all aware, SMT5, which is sort of the older, cooler brother of the Persona series, SMT5 came out just exclusively on the Switch a couple of years ago, and there are rumors surrounding that it might be coming to Xbox, which would be very cool. And there's also a couple of rumors that
Just
there might.
Xbox, he says, not other platforms as well.
I don't care about other platforms. I do not
in
care
the
for
code
other
of the
platforms.
game, it specifically mentions PC and PS4.
I do not care for those other platforms. Notice that says PS4 not PS5. Interesting. PS5
Yeah, because it's backwards compatible.
Still has no game.
It's losing them every day. More of them are getting ported to PC as we speak.
Yeah. So it's just interesting, and this is sort of I'm very excited for it.
Actually, wait, hold on. If PS5 has no games because things are getting ported to PC, does that mean the Xbox has no games? Since they also are released on PC?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, never had any games.
Yeah, never had any games.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure
different issue.
Just wanted to make sure we were even on that one.
Yeah, no. So this isn't me making fun of you because the Xbox has more games. This is me making fun of you because you have no games. It's not a compare contrast. It's just me pointing the finger at you and with a big sign saying, "Please don't look at me."
And then when I ask what about you, you just kind of turn around and sob in a corner.
Yeah. Well, no, I give you that explanation of this isn't about me. Stop making things about me.
I will literally shit my pants right now if you keep asking about me.
I know you have no games on the PS5, so you can spend your time talking to me, but don't.
Seth, you're laughing. The PS5 is losing all its games, and you're laughing.
Yeah, because it'll enter the same echelon of memes as the PS3 did when the PS3 had no games. At least the PS4 has Bloodborne.
That absolute Chad that platinum to every PS3 game.
There's people that platinum every game that comes out, and every time you see pictures of them, they look dead inside.
They look exactly like what you think they do. Yeah. But no, very excited. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, cool.
More video games are always good.
I've heard very good things about whichever one, 4 or 5, that came out on Switch.
5.
A couple of friends. Okay, it was 5. I thought it was 5. A few friends played it. They said it was very good. Yeah, interesting.
These friends, are they in the room at the moment?
No, you guys are not my friends. We're not.
We're not in the room with you either.
And we didn't tell you the game was good.
Hold up.
I haven't played the game.
It's the old the old parasocial thing. We're not friends. we're barely acquaintances. One of you is my editor, the other one's my punching bag. I'll let you guys decide who's who.
You just watch me. You watch me and sub to me. I don't know you exist.
Next up, we have some Ubisoft news where they finally show off Skull and Bones.
No, wait, hold on.
Wait, sorry. Hold on. I'm getting word from our producer.
The editor even.
The editor even. They are not showing Skull and Bones.
Elaborate. Isn't this their only game?
No, they got the Assassin's Creed series, don't forget.
Yeah, shockingly, they have 17 Assassin's Creeds in development, which is cool, I guess.
You know, like every year.
Well. Yeah.
They just cycle them out. They've always got 17 in development, and when one comes out, they announce the next one.
Okay, so they've announced they'll be talking about 4 games. Assassin's Creed doesn't say which Assassin's Creed.
It says in the title. It says Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Oh, I'm not fucking reading. I'm reading the article.
Yeah, in the article it also says Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Well, not the anyway. They're
not
talking about
not the specific line he read.
Yeah, not on the 4th sentence of the first paragraph.
Tunnel vision's a problem for all of us, Steve. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so they're talking about Assassin's Creed, the new Avatar Frontiers of Pandora game. Remember that? They made a game about that for whatever reason.
I remember nothing about that game. I can only assume it's in the same world as Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, it might as well be. The Crew Motorfest, because apparently that game still exists for whatever reason. And a vague teaser, which whatever that vague teaser is, it's probably not Skull and Bones. And if I had to guess, that Skull and Bones probably go on the way of Old Yeller, like Anthem or Babylon's Fall.
Well, they literally cannot cancel that.
Then where is it, Seth?
In the Singapore catacombs.
Every time Ubisoft says something and it's not Skull and Bones, we should be asking, where's Skull and Bones?
Like Patrick just said before you rudely interrupted him. It's in the Singaporean catacombs.
They have catacombs in Singapore?
They do now. That's where Ubisoft buried Skull and Bones.
It's where they're burying the Ubisoft studio so they can't get sued.
They use the money to just build catacombs and bury the game there. Yeah, I don't know. None of those titles look particularly enticing, which I guess sums up Ubisoft in a nutshell to me.
Mirage is kind of
guys?
enticing just because I'm personally interested in the return of classic Assassin's Creed, but not enticing enough to buy it at full price. You had your chances, Ubisoft. You had lots of them. Never again.
Yeah, I'm still interested. Interested is a very strong word, so let's just leave it there.
Cool. Things that might actually be more interesting for me.
Speaking of Hot Wheels.
We have the what?
Sorry. Speaking of hot things.
Actually, that's so much better. Yeah, actually, just scrub the last couple seconds here. Speaking of hot things, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged has been announced for a bunch of platforms. Did anyone end up playing Hot Wheels Unleashed?
No, I always wanted to, but I always missed it while it was on sale. And then they'd always keep announcing more DLC for it as well, which meant I'd have to spend more money on it.
That's true. There was also that thing that came out. I think it was when we talked about how they released DLC that looked kind of MotorStorm-ish, but that it wasn't very well received. And I think that put me off getting Hot Wheels Unleashed.
I think there was also the Forza Hot Wheels DLC collaboration that was coming out around that time. We were considering it.
Yeah. I've heard good things about that Forza Lego Hot Wheels DLC.
I mean, the Lego DLC is also very good.
Yeah,
but
Hot
Wheels DLC is good. But yeah, I certainly won't be getting this. I won't be doing anything with this kind of on release or pre-order or anything. But I don't know. The right sale comes along. Maybe I end up picking up Hot Wheels Unleashed 1. Who knows? But any interest from you two?
I might just get the sequel. I might just completely skip out on the original and wait for the sequel to come out and see how that goes. They've just shown off a CGI trailer, but I'm assuming a lot of the things they're showing in the CGI trailer is supposed to be, look at all these cool new things we're going to add to the game. I don't know what any of them are. I can only infer that maybe jumping over things and riding in people's backyards is new, and it's not all just tied to the Hot Wheels tracks. But yeah, no, that seems interesting to me.
Cool.
I will.
Final thoughts from you, Steve?
No, I liked Hot Wheels as a kid. I have nothing else to contribute to this.
Thanks.
It also for the American dates, which I have to reiterate that Americans date things wrong. It is coming out 10/19/2023, which is 19th of October.
There's no 19th month. Fucking sort it out.
You either do it the Japanese way, which is year, month, date, or you do it the correct way, which is day, month, year.
So stupid. Don't even get me started on miles.
Look,
anyway,
you know, let's skip this. Like, I don't think we're gonna change a whole. Yeah, like that's.
We should change a whole nation's dating system.
They can date whoever they want as long as it's two
Get
consenting
off
adults.
Tinder and go to Grindr.
Ugh.
That's
anyway,
such a good call. Shit.
Happy Pride, everyone.
Oh man, that was such a left field call, but perfect. Well played, Seth. Well played.
Funniest thing I'll say on the podcast all year,
and
it was on content.
Didn't want to say it, but your words. Speaking of being inclusive, everybody 1-2 Switch has been announced for Switch.
So you want to hear a funny story about this?
What,
Not really.
First of all, what?
Funniest thing he'll say on the podcast all year, and I'm going to censor it.
Hey, Seth, just drop his personal information.
I'm going to drop the audio clip.
That is a threat. We're not offering any more context, but that is a legitimate threat that has just been issued. Sorry, what were you going to say, Seth?
Yeah, so it came out last year. I think it was a Bloomberg report that this game was allegedly so bad that a lot of people at Nintendo of America wanted to just cancel it and bury it in a pit. It did have a physical version, and they just wanted to get rid of all of it. They thought that releasing this game for full price would damage the Nintendo brand, while there's a select few shareholders that were like, you know what? No, we can release this at full price. The 1-2 Switch did really well. We can do it. So yeah, the compromise seems to be Release it in the middle of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and Pikmin 4 so it gets buried. Make it digital only and release it for $30 instead of $60 US.
Wow.
Yeah, kind of cringe.
Also, apparently this is going to be following
then?
on the Jackbox trend, so this isn't going to be like mini games like 1-2 Switch was. There'll probably be a few somehow like that, but a lot of it is going to be smartphone integrated. People connects like it's a Jackbox game.
Where we can use Nintendo Online.
Finally,
And
I
use
will
a
be able
Nintendo
to.
online voice chat with the
That's
Splatoon
the one.
headphones.
Yeah.
I will finally be able to say a slur through a Nintendo first party game.
Glad
Finally.
that that's now recorded into episode 76 history. Thank you for that, Steve. Yeah, I sleep. I ended up getting 1-2 Switch, like I assume a lot of people did, because it was the only fucking thing available for the Switch.
Did the Switch
on
really
release.
feel like a cow teat to you?
Just like that, Seth, you're banned from talking yet again.
It's
Okay.
that one or eating the sandwich. Those are the only two I remember.
I don't I'm not gonna say that the games were particularly good, but as entirely as a tech demo for the rumble effect in the Joy-Con, it was interesting to play. The favorite one being counting the marbles by shaking the Joy-Con and actually feeling a different number of. It was legitimately interesting.
You know
that
what
they
did
had-
that shaking marbles in the controller as well and did it so much better?
He's gonna say
Astrobot on the
Astro Boy.
PS5 that came with for free with the PS5. They do
That
like
literally
little,
came out that literally came out 4 years after the Switch, but
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
forget
and that's because the
1-2
rumble
Switch walk so Astrobot could run.
You know what? I'm with Steve, Seth. Shut the fuck up. You're banned from talking.
That's it. I'm dropping Steven's
never
audio
make that
file.
analogy. Never make that analogy again.
I'm dropping the audio file. Too many people have told me to shut the fuck up this episode.
I'd say
There's
not
only
enough
two
people
of
have
us.
said
What
that.
do you mean too many? What was your threshold? Actually, no. I don't care. Shut up.
I'll tell you
no,
what.
but
I'll tell you what's overkill if I say it to myself.
I'm pretty sure the rumble technology in the Joy-Cons in the PS5 controller. Sorry, the rumble technology in the PS5 controller is the same as the rumble technology pioneered in the Joy-Cons. So, I mean, I hate you for this, but you're kind of right. Anyway,
I see. It's a shut the fuck up because I'm right moment. I'll rescind the threats.
Why are you booing me? I'm right. Yeah, everybody wants to Switch. I don't know. I was moderately interested in Wii Sports, like Switch Sports. I don't remember what they called it, but the one that they ended up porting to Switch. Moderately interested into that. Never picked it up, and I'm less interested in Everybody Want to Switch. So it's somewhere in the list. If it looks interesting enough, because Jackbox games are something that do actually work quite well on Switch, then maybe. I mean, it being half price is already making me even slightly consider it, because this at full price, I would. Whew,
I'm surprised that that's the threshold that makes you consider it, because me seeing Nintendo drop a game for half price after reports that this was allegedly so bad they wanted to cancel it, I'm like, I'm going to just watch someone else play this to see how much of a trash fire it is.
No, Seth, you misunderstand. Me thinking that if it's at half price, Nintendo might actually put it on sale at some point. Is that code?
I'm gonna let you
That
think
is
about that
code.
one for a moment.
So but at the same time, those Mario Rabbids games go on sale for like
Yeah, but they're
80%
Ubisoft
off.
games. They're not Nintendo
Oh,
games.
that have party Nintendo characters on it. Like it's,
Yeah, but they are Ubisoft published and developed games. Nintendo's just they're like co-dependent on it, I guess. Ubisoft is
question for
codependent
you.
on Nintendo to put that game out.
The question for you, Steve. If you used one of the Nintendo eShop voucher packs to buy Tears of the Kingdom, would you use the second voucher on Everybody Want to Switch?
no, I
No,
already
you
used
would
the second
literally lose
voucher.
money on that.
Yeah. Oh, actually, yeah, you would. Yeah, because did you guys say that it's supposed to be like a half price game?
Yeah, half price.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm saying it again. How much Australian dongers is it? Nintendo,
At least 3 wallabies.
Everybody, Switch,
Anyway,
Australian
sounds like it's
eShop.
a Pokemon Sleep on this one. So why don't we move on? Front Mission
good
First
one.
Remake. I've never heard of this, let alone the remake. What is this? Who
We've
put
talked
in
about
here?
this before, but then again,
Have we?
every episode recording turns into dust in your mind, so I don't blame you.
It's true.
Oh.
All of these are fever dreams. Neither of you are real.
You know
Are we
what?
in the
I'm
Discord
actually-
room with you right now?
Seth, drop the audio.
This is it's Fire Emblem but with mechs. Yes. Yes.
I
I
guess
don't
that's
care.
Maybe we
I
have
guess
talked
that's a
about this.
simplified way of saying it. Yes. This
Oh,
came
no,
out on.
that's exactly how I described it when you showed it to us like a couple weeks ago. Or
Yeah,
a couple
no,
months
we
ago.
have talked about this. No, you're right.
Oh, like,
the
yeah,
fever
like-
dream rescinded slightly.
Yeah, it was like 8 months ago. This is released on Nintendo Switch, and they're
8
finally
months?
putting it
Fuck
out. Yeah, they're finally putting it out on every other platform. I guess Nintendo just had some sort of timed exclusive that was less than a year.
See, how a game like this isn't called Advanced Wars is beyond me.
Because there's already an Advanced
Made by
Wars.
someone else. Yeah.
I know,
by
but I'm
someone else.
saying this compared to what Advanced Wars actually is, this looks like more advanced. And like, if there was a war, this looks more advanced than the other one. That's all I'll
There's
say.
Advanced Wars and then Future Wars.
Is there future?
And
War?
then after that, we have Star Wars. No one's got that name right. I think
No,
I can get it. I think I can get
yeah,
it
yeah.
on that.
I think you're safe. Register the domain. Anyway, this.
Hold on.
this
I hear a
does-
mouse. I hear a mouse at the door. A rat, even. Very powerful rat.
No, Uncle Seth, stay away. He's got a gun. Yeah, this actually does look interesting. Yeah, I am remembering that we did talk about this one. Yeah, it does look quite interesting. I don't know which platform I'd want it on though.
I don't know either, actually. I was just expecting this to
Xbox.
come to Steam and nothing else, but seeing it on everything
Xbox.
is exciting. I'll probably just get it on Steam.
Xbox. I don't think I get this game though.
Patrick, do you hear something?
No,
I feel like something's coming from my walls.
It's the ghost of Christmas past.
The ghost of Xbox Past.
Ugh, the ghost of Deadpool.
and look at that, it's the ghost of Christmas future. Pikmin 4 has a prologue trailer that's just dropped.
You know what? That was
Yeah.
pretty good.
Thank you.
I gotta say, that one was pretty good.
Yeah.
What can I say? When I win, I win.
But yeah, so this trailer literally dubbed this morning. Everyone was like, "Oh, hey, new Pikmin 4 trailer." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's right. That game's still coming out." And literally, the only thing it was, "Oh yeah, you can create your character." And it's, "Oh no, there've been 2 accidents. Who's gonna save them? It's going to be you." The trailer literally says that.
It's like how you are the wonderful 101.
Yes, you are. Yeah, that's right. Man, what a fucking heel turn that was. But yeah, it's going to be a Pikmin game. It's probably cool that you can have character customization.
Yeah, I think it's cute. Pikmin is a series that can get away with it and make it work well because the characters aren't all that detailed, so it's easy to just mush up something that looks like it fits in the world.
Might finally run on Switch.
Might finally run on Switch.
Didn't they re-release Pikmin 3 for Switch?
They did. I'm pretty sure it works pretty well.
Yeah, I played it on the Wii U. Remember that console?
No.
I do.
It actually didn't work too bad on it. That was actually my first. I remember getting Pikmin 3 because if I bought it, it came with another first party, because they were trying to sell the Wii U. They did that thing where it was like if you bought one Nintendo first party game, you got another Nintendo first party game.
Yeah, I did that as well. It wasn't
Yeah.
just first party games because I made the horrible mistake of buying Mario Kart 8 and getting Sonic Lost World.
Huh.
Could not
Fucking
have
hell,
made a
man.
worse decision.
You should just toss the fucking Wii U out the window at that point. Wii U, Wii U, Wii U.
Anyway, any final thoughts on Pikmin 4?
No. Let's leave it there. I'm not going
Cool.
to get it.
Speaking of things you probably won't get, Marvel Spider-Man 2 is now trying to fully remap New York, but without all the crime and homelessness.
As someone who's been to New York, Let's
Good
just say
luck.
Spider-Man's doing him a favor by not going on the ground.
It's true. One of my lingering memories of New York is just trash piles fucking everywhere.
Well, their garbage system in New York works differently. Like, you literally throw it out into the street and the garbage people pick it up. There is no bin system.
Yeah, I know.
Like, it's in bags and shit, but it stinks.
Then
God, I hate America so
and then you
much.
become trash king. Or I guess trash president. But wait, they have one of those. Fuck, doesn't matter. Yeah, anyway. Spider-Man 2, the Insomniac Games title, sequel to the highly loved Spider-Man. Actually, shit, I mean, this will be out on PC at some point anyway.
It's one of the
Maybe you'll get it,
best-selling
Steve.
PS4 games, I think, the original Spider-Man.
I think it is
Yep.
too. Anyway, they've added Queens and Brooklyn, so it's roughly 2 times larger, according to the creative director. Which I
It
think
looks
would be
even bigger
interesting.
when you put it under the right lighting condition.
All right. So, let's have a bit of fun. The top 5 PS4 video games. What do you reckon they are?
Bloodborne.
Oh, jeez. No, I don't think Bloodborne's up there. Spider-Man's up there. Maybe The Last of Us 2 is up there? The Last of Us
Surely.
1 remastered, maybe? Uncharted 4?
Yep.
That's
God of
too
War
many Naughty
2018.
Dog games.
God of War 2018, surely.
Yeah, God of War
Yep,
2018's
okay, so-
up there.
Yep, there is one more you haven't gotten. It's Marvel Spider-Man at number 1, God of
Yeah.
War at number 2,
Yeah.
Uncharted 4 at number 3, something
That's
else
weird numbering.
at number 4,
Uh-huh.
and then The Last of Us Part 2 at 5.
But it wasn't
Yeah.
Bloodborne.
It was not Bloodborne.
Okay.
Bloodborne is not even on this list.
Is it Death Stranding?
Nope.
Damn.
Fuck, that would have been such a good call, actually.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought of that. Was any of the good Metal Gear Solids on PS4?
They're all very good, but no, it
it's
wasn't.
all Metal Gear Solid 5.
No, it's not Metal Gear Solid.
No, I'm answering Patrick's question. All the Metal Gear Solids on PS4 are Metal Gear Solid 5 and Metal Gear Survive. Remember that game? The game that charged you $10 for a new save file?
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. All right,
Yeah.
so just
Genre, give us the genre.
RPG?
Persona 5.
Nope.
Final Fantasy 7.
Nope.
Well, it's not Kingdom Hearts
Multi-
3 because that sold less.
It's a multi-platform game. I'll give you a hint.
Is it Final Fantasy 15? Because I think that actually sold
Nope.
more than Final Fantasy 7.
Multi-platform RPG. Oh, Temtem.
Nope. Fuck off. I'll do that, don't you? Amazon's got a sale. It's 47% off if I want the physical edition.
I'm out.
Got him. Yeah, I'm also out. No,
The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt.
Oh.
10.8 million
PS3 era.
copies. Yeah. PS4. That's PlayStation 4 game.
Yeah.
No,
it was-
no. I thought it was PS3 era is what I'm saying, because I
It was
thought it was PS3.
in that period where PS3 games were still coming out, but people were moving to PS4.
Yeah.
Right.
Came out in 2015.
Wow.
Yeah, very interesting.
Okay, pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very good.
interesting.
Yeah, you good. Yeah, good stuff, guys. Good.
Thanks for the little game show. Because none of that was Price is Right rules. There are no winners, there are no losers. The
I
winners
think
were the
we're
friends
all
we
the
made
winners.
along the way.
collectively- got
we're
4
all
out of
winners for
5.
hanging out with our friends. Let's all talk over each other.
It's okay. I can edit it out of later on to make it sound like we all took turns talking,
Maybe early-
like same
Yeah, don't
people.
I'll have the my real unadulterated takes on Fast Builders Lounge.
Is that still going,
Um,
buddy? Have you released the first episode yet?
Premature
Yeah, what do you
fast
mean?
OnlyFans.
Oh, hang on. How many episodes have we done for this? 76? We're up to episode 77. Beat it, mate.
All right,
Which-
let me
which
Google
we're
Fast
trying.
Builders Lounge episode 77.
Don't Google this at home. Don't do it.
Inflation.
Anyway, you got to stop derailing me. It's not fun role playing you. So anyway,
hang on. Patrick role playing Seth.
and it's
inflation.
just notes. Keep
R34.
keep derailing Patrick.
The question is, how interested are you in Spider-Man 2?
Oh, super interested. I love the first game. I love Miles Morales. This is one of the top games of the year for me, like in terms of interest, not like top games of the year I think is game of the year material because it's not out yet. I can't say that. Even though I say that every week about Final Fantasy 16. And then Steven gives me shit every week for doing that.
Kick in the head. I'm very keen for this game as well, but I do not have a PlayStation 5. And
Yeah, so just waiting for it to come to PC.
You know what? You can borrow Josh's.
My laptop will catch fire. If I try to run, if I even think about running this game, I think my laptop will explode. So
Do you know what? They're probably going to do a bundle of this with the PS5. Get in on that.
They probably will. And I'm probably dangerously close to my rule of needing. It used to be 3 games with a console before I buy it.
But the PS5 is losing more games every day, so you have to start lowering that count.
No, don't forget. If a game comes to PC, that doesn't affect me in the slightest because my laptop can barely run Google Chrome with 3 tabs open. Like it's
just buy a $5,000 PC
instead of a $500 PS5. Okay, yeah, no, that's fair. Makes sense. But yeah, I'm very close to that upper limit of 5 games. Now I'm going to get a PS5.
But out of interest, what are those 5 games? You're getting not the 5 games, but the games that are getting you to that point.
Surely Ragnarok's on that list.
Yep. So there's Ragnarok, even though that is a PS4 game. So I'm not really going to get into that. But it would be. That doesn't count.
It'd be a stronger experience on PS5.
Definitely.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So there's Spider-Man. There's Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, I'm getting him every week. I'm pushing him closer.
I was always going to get it.
Infecting him.
What else is there? Astrobot doesn't count.
Ratchet and Clank?
But it should.
I've never played Ratchet and Clank before.
I was going to guess Ratchet and Clank, but that's also coming to PC, so that might not be as strong like that. I don't think that would be as strong a pull because it's been out for so long. For Steve is what I mean.
Yeah, no, it doesn't count.
Yeah, but also Rift Apart is a good entry point because they catch you up enough on the past adventures while making this a new one. That's literally
the first mission, yes.
Yeah.
The Final Fantasy 7 remakes? I'm assuming it's technically 3 games, but let's call it 1. It just fell out of my head.
Stray.
That's coming to Xbox.
Has that been announced yet?
Demon Souls.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah. I couldn't remember if it was announced and we talked about that or if it was leaked and we talked about that. Also, Demon Souls, that's a PS3 game. Come on, man.
It's been remastered for the PS5.
Actually,
are you trying to shill me the PS5 or not, man?
In every terms except fidelity, it's worse.
But I haven't played the first one, so it's the best version for me to play. All right, cool. Maybe not that one. Maybe another one.
And another random YouTube plug. Nakey Jakey, if anyone follows that channel, had a great 30-minute dive onto why he loves he talked about Elden Ring, but like why he loves the kind of the Soulspawn sort of series games so much. Really good video.
I've seen one Nakey Jakey video and I forget what it is, but it was a very good and well done video. I think it might have been a GTA one.
Yeah, he covers quite a lot. It's funny because his style of delivery, along with the actual messaging of what he's trying to get to, in some ways, it's kind of like a longer form Good Donkey. I don't know. Possibly hot take, but I feel like Donkey fell off.
It was the Last of Us 2 video.
That one was good. Yeah.
Naughty Dog's game design is outdated, is what it was titled.
Yeah, that one's a good one as well.
Yeah. Anyway, enough about me and my Persona 5, my PlayStation 5 wishlist.
Well, speaking of Final Fantasy 7, which was on there, Rebirth is progressing smoothly and according to plan, which, I don't know, something about those lines being said makes me very nervous.
No, this is the funniest thing possible because they've done, there's more I haven't seen yet. They've been slowly tweeting out every day these made up question and answers, and all of them say nothing. Literally all of them say nothing, and I think this is just a build up to, hey, here's a trailer at the Jeff Keighley show.
Nice.
I'll quickly run down them because they're so nothing it's worth mentioning. How is development progressing on the game? It is progressing according to plan.
Yes.
We'll players journey through the world outside of Midgar. There is a high degree of freedom in how you experience this game.
Wow.
What are some of the key things to look forward to? Chain of narrative developments and each character's character growth. Do I need to play Final Fantasy VII Remake to enjoy Rebirth? No, we have made preparations so that you can enjoy it as your first one. And has a battle system changed from Final Fantasy VII Remake, there will be new people to play as and new systems to take advantage of them.
Man, that's an entire marketing department right there.
I'd actually be very interested in seeing the stats of like how many people played part 2 versus part 1. Like, surely it's not that many, but yeah, those are all non.
If it sells more, then there's a good statistical chance that people are picking up the second one before playing the first one.
When they release the third one, there'll be a bundle. When it comes to Xbox, there you go. I calling it. That's why I'm not really buying the PS5 because everything is just going to come with the Xbox eventually. Like, I've literally just got to wait. There are too many video games out there. No point getting these ones.
Anyway, not much more to talk. Everything is going smoothly and according to plan, so
I'm expecting that to be at the Keighley show in a couple of days. Otherwise, there's no point in doing these really stupid saying nothing Q&As.
Yeah. Next up, not on the list, but just because it was a What's Popular article off of a previous one that I pulled up into a different tab. Diablo 4 has become Blizzard's fastest selling game of all time, which is... I'm sure at one stage that record means something, but compared to things recently, I mean, the bar is on the floor, so Diablo 4 becoming fastest selling of all time probably isn't a high bar.
I think I had that on the docket earlier and then removed it because, like, I really don't want to talk about Diablo and Blizzard. I don't have anything to say about them.
Yeah.
Must be a good game.
It was just an interesting article to pop up.
So you reckon, and I excuse the Overwatch chat, but you reckon if Overwatch 2 was actually sold instead of going free to play, it would have sold more than Diablo?
You know what? I don't know, because the whole reason they were making Overwatch 2 wasn't in at release and is now never going to be in that game.
Hey, okay, I'm sorry I brought it up. Now I'm sad. Can we just move on?
Yeah, you know what? It's for the best.
That was bait to move on. I'm glad it works.
I have heard very good things about Diablo 4. Let's leave it at that.
I have heard things about Diablo 4.
It is both
positive and negative.
Apparently, it's one of the. It doesn't matter. Look, it does matter. Like, apparently, some guy who goes to a different school. He told me there's a cow level in there. Remember that? Or was that World of Warcraft?
What?
No, that's Mario Kart.
No, you remember the cow level? There's like a cow level meme.
Steve, you've been in a car crash. You've just woken up.
Listen, only Meadows.
No, I'm thinking. Okay, so there's a secret cow level in the original Diablo, and that's what I'm thinking. Okay,
sure.
My fucking. Anyway.
Speaking of things that could be positive or negative, MetaQuest 3 was announced.
Doesn't have Dynamite attached to it.
Not this one. That's paid DLC. What I love about these, so I have an Oculus unit somewhere. It's been untouched for about 2 years, and to be honest, I probably should sell it, but I don't know how much I'd get for it. Just because I don't have the fucking space. Really enjoy Beat Saber and Super Hot. That's basically it. But what I love about pretty much without fail, every VR headset that gets announced or launched, they all have the title, Our Most Powerful Headset Yet, and redesigned for comfort and control. Every headset.
I'd be very upset if they released one and it was weaker than the older one.
So agreed, but it's also like, okay, this is the Quest 3, and it's been redesigned apparently yet again for comfort and control. You've had 3 goes. How much more is there to redesign?
I think it's just advancing tech and things getting smaller, meaning...
It 100% is. It 100% is. But it's just, I hate the bullshit marketing language of, it's the same as, we redesigned this from the ground up. Did you need to? Did you really think your previous design was so shit that it required a complete redesign? Because you seemed pretty proud of it 12 months ago when you were trying to make us buy that one.
I think it might appeal to normies, that language.
I'm sure it does. Just fucking infuriating.
Or Silicon Valley bros.
Yeah, much more likely. Anyway, I do not care. MetaQuest, I mean, Meta itself is kind of a joke. Have fun in the metaverse with your new Quest 3 headset, I guess.
It's supposed to be a decent enough VR headset, isn't it?
Well, that's
The
what I'm saying.
meta ones?
Like, I enjoy the VR experiences I have. It's just it's kind of like if I don't know, maybe I'm not articulating my thoughts here. I have a VR headset. It currently sits unused. The idea that a new headset is out does not change either me wanting to get the new headset or me thinking, oh yeah, I have a VR headset. I should use the one I currently have more. It's kind of like VR was sort of a not a phase, but I'd be surprised if someone was like, you know what, the Quest 3 is the one that I'm going to go in on for a VR headset because the tech is broadly unchanged other than advances in what the tech does for the past few years. I don't know. It just seems kind of like most people who are interested in VR are already there.
I don't know because I'm kind of interested in VR, but I haven't put the money aside for getting one because I've got other things I need to take care of first.
Listen, you keep editing Fast Travel Lounge. Might be an Oculus waiting with your full postal address in the description of the next one.
Oh, that's a tempting offer. But no, I think it's worth bringing up because it's neat that they're making more of these and trying to make them more efficient. And I don't know if this is the same price or cheaper or more expensive than the last one. I'd have to double check on that.
I think they're roughly the same. $4.99. Yeah,
I think the last one was $3.99, and then they did that. Actually, inflation's hitting us pretty hard. We need to bump it up to $4.99 now.
Yeah, I think
you're
right.
I'm going to Google MetaQuest inflation.
But I think even then, this is still one of the cheaper headsets you can get in on. So
it's don't know if that part is true.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that. I just need to double check, but just off the top of my head, I think it is.
I think the Quest 3, again, wild speculation, is the kind of it's the like flagship Meta headset, and they do have a cheaper line which just doesn't do as much. It's more for like an experience rather than playing a game. Maybe they've retired that line. I don't know. It's been a while since I've looked at my headset. But in terms of being cheaper compared to, say, the Vive, yes, it is cheaper than the Vive. Well, from when I last looked at how much a Vive costs, it is cheaper than a Vive.
Yeah. And it's also just, like, I'm not trying to toot the Meta's horn or anything. I just, as like an entry point to VR, I think it's interesting to bring it up because it's the one that requires the least amount of fuss. Like, you don't need plugged into any hardware or anything. So I could see this being someone's entry point into VR.
So then how does it work? Is it streaming over your PC? Is it streaming over the internet? It's
all internal mechanics. Like, it's basically a small VR PC on your face.
Oh, that's how it works. Okay. Man, I'm assuming it's completely wireless, like there's chargers or something? I don't really know.
Yeah, it'd have to run off a charge.
Yeah. Is this the one? Is this Facebook one? Yeah, this is the
Facebook one.
So you need a Facebook account, or else it's like no, you don't. Which, if you are trying to disengage from social media, either you'll have to make a dummy account. Well, you can make a dummy account.
Use a fake email, or better yet, use Steve's email. This is what it is. Seth, just insert Steve's email.
What if I dropped an audio file instead?
Anyway, spending too long on this.
But you know what is coming to the Quest series that's really interesting?
Okay, I mean, I had a segue in mind. That one was objectively worse.
All right, then you go ahead and I'll just cut it out.
Fair enough. And after dropping $4.99 on your nice new Quest 3, you can play Power Wash Simulator VR, which, I mean, it was announced for the Quest 2, but I'm sure you'll be able to play it on the Quest 3 as well. But yeah, Power Wash Simulator in VR. Yeah, boy! A weirdly fun ASMR game from what I've heard. It is a game that I have not played, but have only heard good things about.
Yeah, no, this being in VR makes perfect sense to me, just seeing it. And I don't know if they put the VR version on Steam and includes all the DLC as part of that as well.
As long as they have the Bikini Bottom DLC, I was going to say I'm tempted.
On just the Final Fantasy VII one.
No, I need me some Bikini Bottom DLC, I think.
You guys aren't going to play this game.
That almost sounds like a challenge.
he has an Oculus he can set up to play this game.
You literally just said you hadn't touched the Oculus in like 40 years.
But true. But the main thing is because when I outstretch my hands, I can touch either side of the wall, but I don't have to wash either side of the wall. So might actually be able to set it up. Who knows?
Bikini Bottom is enough of a draw to make Patrick pull out the Oculus again.
Hey, when I
One
see
more
Patrick's
ride,
rocks.
buddy. One more ride.
Yeah, no, I am sad that I haven't played Beat Saber in a long time. I just don't want to put any more holes in my walls.
You know what? That's fair.
Yeah, yes, I said any more. No, I will not give details. Speaking
How
of,
did the landlord feel about those?
Speaking of headsets, Apple decided actually $4.99 is fucking chump change for normies.
This is American dollars. This is $4.99 is American.
It is, and so you can pay $3,500 American for the Vision Pro AR headset, which
They're having a fucking laugh at this one, aren't they, fellas? There you go, that's mine.
Why do you sound Scottish?
I thought it was Irish. I'm not very good at accents.
That was not Irish. The tech is very interesting, but yeah, I will never have the money to drop into goggles for this.
That's basically the price of a Mac, isn't it?
More expensive. This is $3,500 American. $3,500 American.
That seems insanely stupid to do.
But like, even it's like that. The same thing with the Google Glass thing. Like the Google Glass thing, it sort of doesn't look like it's a VR headset, so you can get away with it. But I just don't know realistically its purpose. Like, if I see someone wearing these goggles on the street, I am taking their wallet. I am punching them in the back of the head, and I'm taking their stuff because you don't deserve to have it.
What do you mean? Why are you taking the wallet? There is $3,500 strapped to their fucking head, Steve.
Well, I imagine when I punch them in the back of the head, it breaks. When they hit the ground. And the crowd will cheer me on for doing it.
When you give them the wedgie.
So have you guys have played Wii Sports before, right? Just gotta put it out there.
Where are you going with this? But yes.
Have you guys ever thrown a bowling ball backwards in the bowling minigame and heard like the Mii's get disappointed?
I have.
So yeah, that noise Steven just made. When they aired this, there's an audience reaction to the $3,500 price point, and the audience sounds exactly like that. They sound exactly like the Mii's being disappointed.
It's so true.
Yeah, like I just don't see the difference between this and a VR headset. I don't see the difference.
Well,
there isn't.
Hang on.
Going back to what the Quest 3 is showing, like the Quest 3 is also doing AR headset stuff, which is what the Vision Pro is trying to do as well. They're touting it more towards the AR side than the VR side.
It's almost entirely AR side for Apple.
And the Quest is doing both for significantly less price.
Mm.
Maybe it's just a portable TV. Maybe it's my positioning.
What are your thoughts on the Ready Player One style, where they project your eyes on the front of the goggles? That way, you look more human.
That sounds disturbing.
What do you mean? Sounds? That's literally what they're doing.
But we're definitely getting to that point.
Yeah, but like just
reality
describing
where like those
it.
goggles will,
you describing it sounds disturbing.
I
know it's what they're doing, but good God, that sounds awful.
There's an excellent Fireship video that talks about this. I'm fucking so many fucking YouTube channels. I'm expecting all of these shoutouts to get returned, by the way. Looking at you, Jeff, from Fireship.
Maybe it's just like a TV on your face or something.
Oh, and also, the goggles project your eyes on the front of the goggles. Is the shot. And the chaser is you can do video calls, you can do FaceTime video calls with people where you might ask, but how does that work when you have a goggle strapped to your face? Don't worry, while setting up the goggles, it takes a 3D scan, which it then uses AI to turn into an avatar, and that's the thing in the video call.
So it's meta.
Black Mirror aware. Yeah, very meta. Very meta, very canon.
I could imagine a lot of tech bro CEOs that have gotten daddy's money to start up a startup.
Imagine
will have this, and they'll think they're hot shit. I assume, like, when was it, 25 years ago when they had like Bluetooth headsets come out and everyone thought they were king shit for having those and walking around talking. I imagine it will be like that.
I don't think Bluetooth headsets cost 3,500 American though.
Guys, I got a question. So you know how Apple has to include USB-C as an option for iPhones now? Because Europe came down really hard on them about that.
Uh-huh.
Do you think they're going to use a lightning cable for this?
They have to. Isn't it like all electronics in that have like portable? I don't know. I don't know how it works. I'm not going to pretend that I do. I think it just depends on its power supply. They'd sort of have to make it the plug and play aspect of it.
They could use any plug for that. They could use USB-C, USB-B if they wanted to. I'm saying, do you think they're just going to go around the European European Union's crackdown on them for using lightning cable and go, well, this isn't a phone, so this is our own market now. We can use lightning cable on this.
Maybe.
Well, what I thought funny is that in the announcement video, actually, sorry, to answer your question, Seth, no idea. I think it would be funny, and Apple is petty enough with enough cash that they'd try it. But whether they decide, actually, fuck it, let's just use USB-C and be civil, who knows? But another funny point from the announcement of this was when they talked about how they had a partnership with Unity, and they left quite a bit of space for another large video game graphics engine developer to be put underneath Unity. But for legal reasons, and actually it's mostly speculation, but gee, if only there was another brand that would fit so nicely next to Unity in terms of partnerships on a slide. I'm talking about the lawsuit between Apple and Epic Games. Or Epic, Unreal.
Epic lost, so I don't really think
they both lost.
Yeah, they both did.
They did, but whether that's also resulted in Apple only using Unity as the partnership, I'm not sure, but quite funny. Quite a few people have pointed that out. Anyway, again, spending quite a long time talking about this.
The video was made recent enough that they could have just made a Unity logo bigger. So going into the insane crackpot theory is that they left a space there to go, this is where you could have been, Unreal. This could have been you over here.
You too could have been charging $3,500 for people to put 3D projections of their eyes onto their onto the front of the goggles. Which
imagine how many V-Bucks kids would accidentally spend on this product.
The one thing that I did think of is it's very similar to the Quarian mask. How they sort of it's not the eye projection, but just that you can just see the eyes within the mask.
It's just that translucent enough.
Yeah. Anyway, if I find $3,500 American under my mattress, I'll be putting it towards something more useful for my everyday life. But the technology looks cool. We'll see how it goes, I guess. Next up, Valve news. Turns out Nintendo lawyer's scary, and Steam doesn't want to have to legally change its name to Bowser. So they are backing down on the old Dolphin emulator situation.
They don't want to give Nintendo 33% of their profits for the next rest of their life.
No.
and they're a corporation, so the next rest of their life is as long as it can be.
Yep.
It's very interesting that we're just reading the article. Someone so Dolphin announced it was coming to Steam. Someone from Steam saw that and told Nintendo proactively.
Rat.
Well, it's a rat, but then at the same time,
you know what they say: snitches get DMCA takedowns.
I'm assuming that whoever at Valve did this was trying to make sure they weren't going to get into legal trouble for it.
Yeah, obviously.
Because this article amounts to, we didn't want to fuck with Nintendo and get into legal trouble for hosting Dolphin, because they won't sue Dolphin, they'll sue us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for hosting, yeah. So it's unsurprising as well. But then it sort of begs the question, if Dolphin didn't say anything.
I mean, they can't just unpromptly release something on Steam.
Could you imagine?
They've got to go through Steam's internal checks anyway.
Do you think
Steam would have seen it and had to tell them?
Do you think Gabe Newell uses Dolphin?
100%. There's no way that bastard pays for anything.
He got to being a billionaire just by pirating Nintendo games. He saved all the money on first-party releases.
Should we tally up the first-party Nintendo games we've bought over the years, fellas?
No.
He emulates them because they don't make them readily available on PC for him. If they just made them readily available on PC, there would be less of a pirating problem.
True.
And he's too fat and lazy to go outside.
He's a billionaire. He could literally pay someone to move his legs for him.
But he doesn't want to. That means Nintendo would win. But yeah, not surprising.
You know what? I'm going to tell him you said that.
Good, tell him you said it. Oh, that's right. He lives in New Zealand at the moment. Oh shit.
You know what? You can just email him and he'll read it. He literally goes through all of his emails and responds to them.
That's why he never gets outside. It's just more and more emails every day. How many of them?
That's why they made smartphones.
How many emails do you think are penis enlargement pills? And how many of them do you think he signed up to?
Like 7.
He probably hasn't signed up to them. He's just like, thank you for the offer, but I've got too much money and too big of a penis already.
Too big of a penis.
It's all about that confidence.
It still pales in comparison to the former mayor of Toronto, who during like allegations of cheating or something, his line was something to the effect of "I have enough pussy at home." Just baller.
And then you find out he's got 2 cats and no wife.
Oh no, he had a wife and he was also off his face on cocaine like most days. But anyway, based way of living.
Had a wife, based.
Finally,
what are we doing here, fellas?
Final news article. Put down the shovel, Seth.
Finally, someone standing up for the hets. Happy Pride, everyone.
Happy Pride, everyone.
Fuck off, we did it. You bastard.
Oh, no. Okay, finally, Microsoft and possibly Fast Travel Lounge eating a $20 million FTC fine.
For violating kids' privacy. Oh no, I don't want to be part of this.
Seth, put the shovel down.
I'm not a Smash player.
No, you only play Street Fighter. It's so much better. When's the last time you showered?
Today, actually.
You had to think about that. You had to think about that. That was a pause. I heard that pause. Anyway, Microsoft is eating.
I paused because I was thrown off guard. I eat those pros. Said. I never tech it. I never tech the pros.
Anyway, Microsoft has been hit with a $20 million FTC fine for violating kids' privacy on Xbox Live. It doesn't need to admit that it did anything wrong, but still promises not to do it again.
How do you promise to not do something again while admitting you did nothing wrong?
Hey, that's showbiz, baby. That's Xbox, baby. Yeah. Stupid
this is your stand company, Steven?
Look, it's probably one of those things where
goes on to defend violating kids' privacy.
There are both sides.
But it's one of the important thing is that
Microsoft didn't learn their lesson.
Yeah. But then at the same time, $20 million for like Microsoft is like, oh shit, man, sorry, I just won't
here's a coin.
The ocean. Yeah.
It's like when the
do you guys give change for a $20 trillion note?
Yeah, it's like when those self-service checkouts ask if you want to donate to charity for 20 cents to top up, like to just put your bill to the nearest dollar.
Those are a fucking scam. Those are a tax write-off. Never do those. You don't do them, do you, Seth?
No.
Good. You don't do them, do you, Pat?
No.
Good, because you're a fucking tax write-off. Because
I would rather pay money for the opposite outcome.
Oh, you're pro-child labor.
Yes. I want my shit cheap. I'm poor.
Yeah, well, I'm pro-child labor because without it, like, how would they afford things? Well, you want kids to go hungry? Do you want kids to go hungry, do you, Seth? Sounds like Seth's pro-child starvation.
Phil Spencer should be personally taking care of each and every one of them.
It's it's the South Park thing of no worries, so I just need you to pull the sandwich out of the starving kid's mouth. Oh, that's a feisty one.
You know what? If child labor and child hunger is such a problem, why isn't Phil Spencer giving all of them AIDS?
You need to be really careful with what you say.
Wrap them up. Yeah. Wrap them up. Someone's going to clip that. We're all going to jail. It's been fun, fellas. Jesus Christ, Seth, you're out of here.
So basically, to
Great,
sum up
I
the
make
story,
one South Park reference, and that's it. We're done.
Yeah.
But you know,
Seth, Seth, shut the fuck up.
You know what? You're right. I should shut the fuck up. And now we've hit all three of us.
We have dropped the audio. To wrap up the story, Microsoft decided that they were going to let kids try and create their own profile, but there was a step where a parent needed to complete the process. However, Microsoft, being Microsoft, decided actually let's just include a pre-check box that says that we can send detail like promotional information and use the user data even if the sign-up process wasn't complete, which also was alongside the fact that they didn't remove the user data if it wasn't complete. So the user data that they obtained, even if the sign-up wasn't complete, was still used and thus violated privacy. But like, holy shit, how? I don't know. It's like almost impressive that you can make that many fuck-ups and be like, oh no, we didn't do anything wrong. We had no idea what we were doing was very, very illegal.
Legally, we're allowed to sell all of that data that we were meant to delete.
And so they've put a bunch of protections in place to stop it doing it again, and they've been slapped with a $20 million fine, which...
Drop in the ocean.
Dropping...
The fun way of explaining it that PC Gamer did is that it's less than 1/10 of the difference between of how much they're spending on the Activision Blizzard merger.
Yep.
Ooh, that's true.
And that becomes
if they can try to drop almost $69 billion on Activision Blizzard, they can get hit with a fine for more than $20 million.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, that brings us to the end of news for this week. And actually, that brings us to the end of the show for this week. Episode 76 wrapped up with a bow. If you liked what you listened to, give us a subscription or a like on the podcasting platform of your choice. We're on anywhere good podcasts are played. We're also on Twitter at Fast Travel Lounge -1 of the L's, which constantly stolen by Elon Musk, getting really frustrating. Facebook, Fast Travel Lounge, which we're definitely using to sign up to an Oculus account for. Or good old mailbag, fasttravellounge@gmail.com. I don't think it's worth teasing too much for next week. I assume to be same old.
Tears of the Kingdom and Street Fighter 6 and actual discussion on Spider-Verse.
Yes, good point. Yep. Spider-Verse discussion and Monster Hunter chat, most likely. The final digital catch-up. That'll be what I'm bringing to the table.
The Jeff Keighley event happening later this week.
Yeah, Summer Games Fest. And
the Xbox Showcase. There'll be a lot of news next week.
Yes, there'll be a lot of news. There won't be a lot of us talky, maybe, other than the Spider-Verse stuff. But well,
us talky, are we talking about the news?
I mean, on a technical point, you're right, but on a philosophical point, I hate you, but I want this to end.
Okay, well, end it. You're the host.
I'm trying. That's literally my job.
Up, Steven.
It's what I was put on this earth to do. End you.
Ooh.
Don't Google that. Anyway, thank
Steven, lock your doors.
Pat finishes Steven off.
Shut up, Steve. Shut the fuck up. But thank you for listening to episode 76. I've been Patrick. I've been joined by Seth and Steve. And we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.
Steven can say something funny now.
I don't have anything funny this week.